Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Welcome in on a rainy Monday, and it's going to be raining for a while, probably through tomorrow afternoon. The bulk of the heavy rains will be coming tonight, later tonight. Could be very windy, could be coming down really hard. Flash flooding is a real possibility, even some possible tornadic activity. So please keep alert and be careful. Be real careful, because it is crazy out there for sure. Our thoughts, our prayers with those in Louisiana and in New Orleans and Baton Rouge, where there have already been a couple of people who have passed because of Hurricane Ida. Also the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Between Louisiana and Mississippi, there are 1 million people without power right now. And they could be out, and listen to this, for weeks. It's really tough. It really and truly is. Tulane moving to Norman for their game. Ryan Silverfield, and we'll talk about this in a second, has reached out to Nichols, offering them the ability to stay here at a hotel that the school would let them practice in their indoor and frankly, would even feed them. I thought that was real sportsmanship. He had his media press conference today. His Too Deep is coming out here momentarily. And on this day, we welcome back into the fold Brett Norsworthy, who had a well-deserved vacation. He's back and raring, ready to go. How was your time in Oxford?
It was good, Dave. Went to a lot of football practices, TGIFS. Thank God it's football season. And I am ready, even with the sadness that we have to come on with what's going on to our south, but sports related, you're right. Now Tulane, they were so excited about hosting that game on campus at Ullman. Now it will be at Memorial Stadium in Norman, and a heavy underdog even when it was going to be at Ullman, and it'll even be a bigger challenge for Willie Fritz's, I think, very, very solid club. And you're right about Nichols, just uncommon kindness by the University of Memphis and Ryan Silverfield. I say that, but it's the common with the University of Memphis and with Ryan Silverfield. He gets it, they get it, and it's nice. But it was fun to be at practice last week, ready for a week from tonight when Ole Miss plays Louisville, and we will do our picks all week on all the SEC teams and on all the AAC teams. We'll get to Ole Miss later in the week, and I'm really torn on Ole Miss because if it could be injury-free, and it's not going to be, there's always that injury, Ole Miss could have a really good year. Just when does the injury bug bite? What's the severity of the bite? And if it comes at the lesser of the injuries and at the right time before an easier spot in the schedule, then I think Ole Miss can have a terrific year. The defense is more than just better. That's been the summertime question that I've gotten everywhere. Can it be better? 14th out of 14 last year in the SEC in defenses. It's not only better, I think it can be good.
Isn't that interesting? Both of the most local schools who have been really good on offense and pretty average or worse on defense, both are talking about improved defenses, immensely improved defenses this year. We've fallen in love, obviously, with
what's an offensive error?
I even asked Ryan Silverfield today. I said, he's talking about defense being way ahead of offense in fall camp. And they are, by the way, releasing their Too Deep, as I mentioned. And I said, I get that, but, I mean, is the American Athletic Conference evolving? Because Cincinnati was so good defensively last year, are we seeing that change? And he basically said, you still got to score points in this league.
They have a 40-point offense.
At least somewhere around 30, I think. If you're going to win the American, I think you're going to have to score on an average of close to 30 points a game.
I don't know if a 30 will get you a lot.
Yeah. Well, depending on how good that defense really becomes. We'll see.
But the Ole Miss offense can be prolific, and it really could. They're not going to, but if it wanted to just be ground and pound, it could, because it is a stable of running backs. The offensive line is going to be a real strong point to the team, and then Matt Corral to make it all go. And I'll get to more about him when we get to top story of the day, because it started out back in May and June kind of under the radar for Ole Miss and the expectation for this year. And somebody at SEC Media Day, somebody we had on, said they've been picked so many times to be the dark horse. Maybe I think it was David Cobb, and we're going to have David at 4 o'clock today. They've been picked to be such the dark horse. They're not the dark horse anymore. They're almost accepted, and Matt Corral really got that by Robert Griffin III last week, and we'll talk more about it in a bit.
Yeah, I'm curious, because you've seen him now, and I'm wondering how much better is he? He was really good a year ago. How much better has he gotten? Because everybody has to progress if they're going to take the next step. Who else really maybe you didn't know about as much in your mind going to Oxford this past week, but now that you've seen him, who's that guy that maybe not all of us know about right now?
Kentrell Bullock at running back from Columbia, Mississippi. And I told him, I said, the bad thing about it is you will forever be the second best running back ever from Columbia, because, number one, a man named Sweetness.
Yeah.
There's no way to ever top that.
I don't think there is. I would agree 100% with that.
But 4 legitimate running backs in Jerrion Ely, Snoop Connor, Kentrell Bullock, and Henry Parrish can just keep a fresh back out there all the time. What Chad Kelly's little brother is doing at tight end, I mean, he's more than just Chad Kelly's little brother. He had the real good bowl game, John Rice Plumlee in the slot, wide receivers. Everybody's waiting for that guy to step up. Just got in that run of wide receivers from Dante Moncrief to Laquan Treadwell to AJ to DK to Elijah Moore. Who will be that next one? It could be Braylon Sanders. It could be Jonathan Mingo. There's plenty at wide receivers. There's plenty on offense. The defense, if it can stay healthy, Ole Miss can have a spectacular season.
Could and should be a lot of fun. We're already off and running in the NCAA. We had college football this past weekend, and I got to give Bruce Marshall a big tip of the cap. He came out strong and said pretty much in the words of another prognosticator years ago, wrong team favored. He liked Illinois over Nebraska. Forget the points, straight up. And that is exactly what happened.
And got there easily.
And you got to wonder now, because from what I'm told, Scott Frost is not the easiest guy in the world to like. And there's a lot of reasons right now, and 20 million of them by an AD that didn't hire him, that you might not like him, especially after that was an easy one for Illinois. That's 2 years in a row, 2 different head coaches the Illini have had that have knocked off Nebraska.
Yeah, and I thought Illinois really control the whole game, except for early. The Nebraska defensive line had some moments, but the crowd was big in Champaign-Urbana, and Brett Bielema he opens with a win over Scott Frost, and now it begins for Scott Frost, and I think we know how it's going to end. And if you'll remember back to that year that he was leaving UCF to go to his alma mater at Nebraska, last quarterback of a national championship team when they split with Michigan in '97, he had the Florida job if he wanted. Chip Kelly had the Florida job. Both of them coached on Saturday. Chip Kelly's Bruins looked a lot better than Scott Frost's Nebraska Cornhuskers. And if Scott Frost can't get it done at Nebraska, then it just may be impossible for anybody to do it. The Mike Riley hire was so bad, and it set them back a long way. Not only are they longing for the good old days of Solich, Frank Solich, they're longing for the good old days of Bo Pelini.
Well, I go back, and obviously the Frank Solich dismissal was a bad dismissal, a bad move on their part, a little like East Carolina with Ruffin McNeil, but even worse. And, it sort of begs to this question. Is there ever going to be Nebraska coming all the way back? Maybe a lot of the players Nebraska used to get, particularly skill position players, maybe those players that used to go from the West Coast to Nebraska, maybe there's other schools, including Boise State now, that they would prefer to go to, or other areas.
Well, they lost their identity too by leaving the conference to go to the Big Ten and taking that money. But they also lost their identity, Dave. For a long time, they were kind of service academy football that wasn't at the service academy. A lot of ground and pound, a lot of tailback and tight end. There wasn't, except for Irving Fryer, there aren't many big name, splashy wide receivers at Nebraska. But they always had that big time tailback that they fed, and big time fullback that they fed, like Tom Rathman and Schlesinger and all those guys, and they got away from that, and they've really lost their identity. And now, do you want to go out there in Omaha to Lincoln in Middle America and play football there?
Well, they used to treat you like kings there, so and I suspect that they still do. But you're right, the identity of switching leagues and frankly, the mistake with Solich have just been devastating. I don't know that Nebraska will ever come back the way it once was, particularly if they stay in a Big Ten that, clearly is geared to other schools.
And if it's hard for Nebraska to get off the canvas, then how can Tennessee, how can Arkansas, how can others still trying to get back to relevance? If it's that tough for Nebraska, how are some others going to do it? Michigan, not as down and out as Nebraska or Tennessee or Arkansas, but not at their lofty perch they once had.
No, not even close to that lofty perch. That is for certain. So we've got plenty to discuss. Here's the lineup. Ted Butler will join us at 3:30. We got medals coming your way at about 3:45. The aforementioned David Cobb from CBS Sportsline. Cobb will join us at 4, and then we'll start making some picks. We've got Vandy, South Carolina, Missouri, and Kentucky at 4:30, and then at 5:30, South Florida, Temple, and ECU. Before we make those American Athletic Conference picks, Bill King, the recruiting guru and SEC journalist, he will be joining us from Nashville, and we'll chat with him about the college football season, and frankly, we could address with him a little bit what Penny Hardaway has done over the last couple of weeks. It has been amazing. I know you were gone, Brett, but we bought the old Bates and switch, you could say, because we didn't think he'd make the announcement till Friday, and Wednesday we were literally in crunch time. What did you learn now? I'd already given mine, and Gabe Kuhn goes, wait! Amani Bates is coming to Memphis. What Penny has done this summer, I'm not sure I've ever seen anywhere between that coaching staff and two of the top 5 players in this class.
And now it's got to translate from all the smoke to a lot of flame.
Well, we've seen smoke before. This is the second time. Let's see what happens with this group. I can't imagine this group will not show us some flame.
College football, it's back, and FanDuel Sportsbook making Week 1 even more exciting. Right now, all customers get a risk-free bet on any Week 1 game. That's right. Place any Week 1 bet, and you get a refund in site credit if you don't win. Here's how you need to get started. I love Alabama over the U on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of defense for the Tide. I think it'll be too much for Derek King. Have fun with that one. It's easy to use at FanDuel, #1 rated sportsbook app in America. Safe, secure, fast payouts. Just open that FanDuel Sportsbook app and get started. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up with promo code CASH to also get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10 unless otherwise indicated. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the great folks at 2600 Ridgeway. That's the good people at Lexus of Memphis. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity into September, into Labor Day sales event. Great offers on all 2021 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, this just in. Memphis is too deep is out. There is no number one quarterback yet. It's either Grant Gunnell, the junior transfer from Arizona, or Seth Hennigan. And that's a surprise. The freshman from Denton has beaten out both Peter Parrish and Keelan Brown. And I suspect the way he was talking is that both will be used in this game against Nicholls State. The number one running back is the freshman from North Little Rock. That is Brandon Thomas. The starting receivers are Calvin Austin and Javon Ivory. We knew that, but Gabe Rogers will be a starting wide receiver, and he'll be used, I think, in a sort of a Tony Pollard kind of way. We got some surprises on the offensive line. The transfers have not necessarily beaten out guys. You've got Jonah Gamble, who is going to be, as a redshirt freshman, your starting left tackle. He beat out Austin Myers, the kid from TCU. Jakari Robinson, the center, was beaten out by the kid from Christian Brothers. Jacob Likes as the starting center. Dylan Parham obviously is in there. Matt Dale is in there. And the young man from Michigan State is not even, as I look here, I don't think he's even on the two deep. So we are really seeing some we're seeing some surprises there on the offensive line. So we'll go over this a little bit later. But the two deep is in, and nobody's major surprise, there's not a quarterback who is named for this game.
My top story, game week for everybody. Depth charts out, game notes out, starting quarterbacks and a lot of places being named, a lot of oars listed as well. Coaching staff, a lot of the reason the oars are out there, they don't want the backups to transfer. The portal's wide open. Grant Gunnell, will he be the starter on Saturday night for the Tigers? Will Rogers will be the starter at State. Joe Milton will be the starter for the Tennessee Vols. At Memphis, at Mississippi State, at Tennessee, they all with a little bit of a quarterback question. No question mark at Arkansas. It's been K.J. Jefferson, and no question at all at Ole Miss. It's been Matt Corral. And RG3, Robert Griffin III, new to ESPN, new to the game day college football analyst crowd. Last week, he picked Ole Miss to go 10-2. And Matt Corral to win the Heisman Trophy.
Wow. He
has a vote as a former Heisman Trophy winner.
How about that? That is high praise from RG3. I watched him do a little bit of the game and the other night. Can't remember which game I was even watching, but seems like he is going to do a really fine job. Also yesterday, a repeat of a story on Alex Smith, the great quarterback from Utah. I didn't realize he could have gone to Harvard or Yale. He chose to go to Utah, and we know the story. We know the injury that he came back from.
For Utah.
Yeah, and that injury that he came back from, and how devastating it nearly was, and for him to have played last year. I did not know this, I knew he retired. I didn't know he is going to be an ESPN analyst as well. So we're getting a lot of new perspectives from analysts on the ESPN roster.
Not top story of the day.
Well, that is what has happened in New Orleans and in Mississippi, especially on the Gulf Coast. And that weather's coming here, so we do please ask you again to stay in touch. Keep aware of what is going on. We already know that the Tulane game, which was supposed to be in New Orleans on the campus, has been moved to Norman. Is that a home and home? Do you know they would get the ability to swap it?
I think it's the second part of it. It was the return. I think it was 2-1, and they either have already played both or one at Norman. They'll have to adjust, and I think OU will make it up to them.
I hope so. I really, really do. 1 million people in the two states, Mississippi and Louisiana in particular, the southern portions, they are without power, and we are told it could be weeks in some instances before power is restored. And, Brett, I'm not saying that there could be any issue because it's a long way away, but the Final Four is supposed to be in New Orleans this year. Maybe that'll be the perfect potion that they will need to be, again, restored after Katrina and now Ida. I hope that is the case, but I do hope they can have the Final Four there.
Yeah, the Saints are going to play long before then. I don't think the Final Four is in jeopardy from this. My not top story, NFL preseason thankfully ends. It ended with a lot of questions at quarterbacks for a lot of teams. I said 18 different new starters this year for teams. It's not going to be that, but I'm not going to miss it much. The preseason, it's always bad football, but now that we've gone to 17 games and only 3 preseason games for most teams, a lot of players didn't get a lot of time to rack up a tape, and we had some games canceled. I had the Saints canceled last weekend because of weather. So when we go to 18 games and there's only 2 preseason games, those scouting departments have to come through because you're not going to be able to miss very much.
No. We always talk about how we play too many exhibition games, and now we've cut one out, and you're still going to get injuries, like the injury now to J.K. Dobbins. I sit there. The guy only had 23 touches in the 3 exhibition games, or he was in on 23 snaps. He was only in on 10 touches. He touched the ball 10 times. Unfortunately for him, the 10th time cost him his ACL, which means he's out for the year, and his whole career can be altered, although they do so much now with ACL surgery.
Fresh from New Orleans, from my best friend, he texted me. He made it through, no power. AT&T just came back. He said, not going to lie.
Wow.
Roughest experience he's ever encountered, but knowing that a lot that are pulling for them down there really gets them through.
He stayed in New Orleans, huh? Wow. I knew several people that got the heck out of Dodge. But he's already got his power back on?
No, AT&T restored.
Oh, AT&T restored. Okay. Well, I'm glad he is okay. It must have been a rough time, that is for sure. But back to the Dobbins injury. I just sometimes, it's a rough game. You got to get in shape. You've got to learn plays. You got to get chemistry with all your other teammates. I don't know when. Some teams don't play their starters at all 3 exhibition games, and maybe that's the way they'll go, but can you blame John Harbaugh for playing them? Only 10 touches? I don't think you can. And those are your top and your not top stories. We'll pause here for just a second. When we come back, we'll talk off what a match yesterday. Second round of the playoffs. We're down to 30 now. And Patrick Cantlay, Icy Patty, I guess is what they're calling him, and Bryson DeChambeau put on one heck of a show, and I guess the better guy won, or at least the better putter. We'll talk about that with Ted Butler when we return. Monday is underway on Sportstime.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy take you through lunch from 10 to 1 weekdays, only on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Don't wait until one of life's little surprises forces you to see a doctor. Schedule a wellness visit with Baptist Medical Group and start a healthy relationship with a care team dedicated to keeping you and your family well. At Baptist Medical Group, you'll have access to convenient care, including online scheduling and video visits with a doctor who knows you so you can get the right care when you need it. Visit BaptistScheduling.com or call 844-837-2433 to schedule an appointment today. Get better with Baptist.
Let's just take that out of your mouth.
At Ping's Pre-K, the growing enrollment is no play date.
Toilet is not a closet.
She needs more teachers certified in early childhood development.
Is it nap time yet? Lunch?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Mid-South, are you ready to trade up to a Kia sales event at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
We're ready, Randy, with the best ride you'll ever drive. 2021 Kia Forte LXS, we got it at $249 a month. 2022 Kia Soul GT, it's ready to ride at $305 a month.
And Jeff Allen, I hear you've got American-made 2022 Kia K5, now $379 a month, and every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
You heard the man, Jeff Allen. Don't miss the trade up to a Kia sales event at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. All $29.99 due at signing, all 72 months at 2.9 APR sold in 715-1544 MSRP 24,200 K5 NG 103,647 MSRP 28,985 Forte LXS MSRP 20,590 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in on this Monday. We're in the Family Leisure Studios, and while this month is still in there, I'm telling you, you've got to see what they got at Family Leisure. You got to get to I-40 and Whidden Road because the fall stuff is coming in. You'll find some really pretty good prices on the summery kinds of things. They still have, actually, good deals on play gyms in stock. Yeah, keep the kids active still in the fall. You can do that. Hot tubs are going to go fast because when the weather gets cold, the price seems to go up. They start to run down on the supply. This is the time to go and get yours. Reserve it before the first freezes come. And there are still really good prices on game room products, massage chairs. Those are so good. And they've gotten so effective, the technology in those massage chairs. Go check it out. Everything state-of-the-art, all the top of the line. At Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road, where family and fun all come together. Ted Butler, as always, joins us today. We're sort of winding the golf season down. We got a week off, then we got the playoff finale, and then we got the Ryder Cup, so there are still some pretty big stories. But yesterday, what a showdown between Patrick Cantlay and Bryson DeChambeau. And have you ever seen putting like Cantlay had down the stretch and in the playoff?
No. No, frankly, that was an incredible match. I mean, it just from every part of it, so impressive, the shots they hit. And Cantlay, DeChambeau missed 4 chances to win. Cantlay saved 5 chances to lose. It was, I was more impressed with Bryson than any time that I've seen him play golf, with the way he hit the ball. And the whole thing should have been over on 17. When Cantlay hit it in the water, and Bryson's got this simple little chip shot from the edge of the green, he chili dips it. If he gets that up and down, the tournament's over. He's 2 up with 1 to go. But it makes me wonder, like I've wondered all along, when you need the delicate touch around the fringes and the greens like all those guys have, and he's getting these 3-pound wedges. They're so long and they're so heavy. I don't know if Bryson has a delicate touch.
Ted, when I see a guy use a putter off the green as much as he does, it tells me he does not know how to chip.
Well, right. That's like a lot of the guys they used to play with at Galloway back in the old days. They putted from 20 yards down the fairway because they couldn't chip off tight lies. But that was impressive. I mean, it was gut wrenching, and you're wishing here and you're wishing there, and it started with Bryson driving in the sand trap on the first hole. What was that, 400 yards? I mean, it was really intriguing golf.
Do you like how playoffs are done? Do you like the repetitive nature? And I know they can't go back to like 1 or even like to 10 because some of the TV crews have already started tearing down. But we've seen a lot of the same holes played a lot this year, haven't we?
Yeah, I guess that's what they have to do in the time constraints and going back at the first hole and starting over and moving all the cameras and. I guess they're just doing what they have to do, and it was okay though. When Bryson hit it in the water on the playoff hole and got it up and down for par, Cantlay in the left rough in that horrible lie, and he gets up and down for par. It was like going, I can't believe he did it again. Or I can't believe he did it again. It was really fun.
Sometimes we overanalyze, but going back to a couple of the majors this year, what happened to DeChambeau in the final round with Harris English at the WGC, and yesterday, do you start to wonder about whether or not he's a really good finisher? I know he won that U.S. Open. I know he's won several times at a very early age. I know he's innovative, but, there's a lot of El Foldo here in this guy.
Well, yeah. He did it, a couple times this year, shooting 33 on the front, 44 on the back at Torrey, and then did it at Memphis. I don't know exactly what he thinks, with the overanalyzing he does with his caddy and all the books and all the nuances here and there, and yet still misreads putts by sometimes quite a bit. There may be just, I don't know how much you can think and analyze in the heat of battle like that. Some of it has got to be instinctive, where you just look and do. I just can't imagine all the stuff going through his mind when he's trying to hit a shot.
Ted, this week, the Tour Championship in Atlanta at the home of Bobby Jones at East Lake. If Patrick Cantlay wins next Sunday afternoon, is he Player of the Year without winning a major?
Kind of looks that way. It's kind of, yeah. I would have to say yes.
Over John Rahm, who became the number 1 player in the world and won a major?
If he wins next week, possibly.
And one of the tournaments he won is John Rahm was going to win.
Yeah,
that's true. He was definitely
and Rahm
going
may
to
win next week.
Right.
Rahm could win next week. I think there's 10 people could win next week. It's, DJ's playing better. Rory's playing better. There's Justin Thomas is back there. There's a whole bunch of guys that have a chance. I don't think there's an odds-on favorite to win this thing.
When you think about the playoffs and the way now that Cantlay is going to have a 2-shot lead over Finau, and I can't remember how many over the rest of the pack, but they stack it this way, to give an advantage to people who've won prior during the playoffs. And I don't mind that. I know John Rahm thought it was stupid. Do you think there's a better way to do this playoff format in the 3 matches that we have?
Well, I don't like the idea of starting somebody 10 under par. I mean, what other playoffs do that? I mean, every other playoff in every other sport, you get to the World Series or whatever it is, and everybody's even. I don't understand the.
Now, Ted, in college football, Alabama starts at -10 every year.
Well, yeah.
that and in those other sports, the guys that didn't win don't play again.
Yeah.
Here you get
right,
to play
Ted.
again.
They're starting a guy at the 3/4 pole.
No, I don't like it. I think they ought to start even, and whoever wins that week wins. If you played good enough during the year to get there, just throw everybody out there and tee it up and let's go. I mean, they got their own system, but I don't particularly like it.
Ryder Cup in a few weeks. Cantlay made the team yesterday. I think he'd have made the team anyway. If you were Steve Stricker, who are some of your captain's picks?
And do you take Phil Mickelson?
I don't think so. I haven't even looked at the list past the top 8 or 9 guys. The team's going to be really, really strong. Who's in like 12th and 13th place?
Kevin Kisner looks to be one of the popular captain picks out there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's tough. He's a competitor. I would definitely take him. I don't think Phil, though. He's had one really, really good tournament this year when he was so totally focused, but the rest of the time it's been a little scattershot.
Ted, will Bryson DeChambeau have a single friend in the team room?
That's a really good question. When he called out Cantlay yesterday, and for all of us that have played golf, people have walked and talked while you were putting, and usually you just back up and you redo. But I've never seen anybody actually say something to him in the heat of battle like that. That can't make a lot of friends, I wouldn't think. You have to respect what he's done.
I mean, that's 2 down. How many more to go in the team room? Brooks Koepka and Patrick Cantlay that we know about.
Well, yeah, let's give that whole story on that, too. They'd already been put on the clock. They were basically talked to when Cantlay said, I was just trying to get into better position because they'd already sort of warned us, and I was just trying to be, a guy following the rules. And then DeChambeau does that kind of stuff, and then DeChambeau had his little premature celebration before the playoff even began, and that I think kind of irritated Patrick Cantlay. I just don't get this guy. I think at the WGC, I think he kind of destroyed Harris English because English was trying to rush because DeChambeau's so slow.
Well, again, to me, it goes back to DeChambeau being 24/7 golf. I don't think he's got a girlfriend or dates or does anything but golf. And when you get so wrapped up and so possessed by everything like that, I don't know whether you even think about anybody else. I don't think your mind is your etiquette, your respect for anybody else or even playing is even in there. I don't know, though. He's so deep into it. Nobody's ever been there. Nobody even knows what he's thinking. But he irritates a lot of people. I mean, that's for sure. People I teach, that come in and talk about it, I hate that guy. Oh, what a jerk he is. And this is on a daily basis in just regular golfers.
Ted, I get that too, but he was the biggest draw at Southwind.
Well,
by far.
It was if it was Cantlay and Kisner yesterday, it wouldn't have been as exciting. I mean, it's fun to watch him hit the ball
to have a bad guy.
yards.
What do the kids call it these days?
The heel.
To have a heel.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it myself, though.
It wasn't even close.
But Phil Mickelson couldn't come close to Bryson DeChambeau. He was the guy that everybody wants to go watch. When he's hitting on the driving range, it's literally 4 or 5 deep. To watch him just hit on the driving range. And he stays there forever. I don't know what it is about him. Maybe it is another interest. I thought he had a girlfriend. I don't get the guy. I think he's almost relishing being that heel.
Well,
have fun.
Could be. A lot of pro wrestlers did good doing that. I mean, it's good to have a villain.
You know what? You know who it's made a good guy? Patrick Reed. Now we're all feeling sorry for Patrick Reed because he got pneumonia.
What's next? Bubba Watson being likable?
Yeah, maybe. I'm just telling you. DeChambeau, Brett is spot on. people are drawn to this guy for whatever. He's good looking. He's Paul Bunyan.
Breaks out the protractor.
He's
Ted, you always kept one of those in your golf bag, didn't you?
I could barely find one in the classroom.
It was hard. It was hard to find tees, much less protractors.
But he's just not a nice guy. I mean, I think in the long run, that seems to be the way he is. Maybe it's just immaturity. We forget. How old is he?
Yeah, he's still got some growing years.
Oh, yeah, there's no question about that. Ted,
Well, I've decided for sure that I'm going to add on a tee shot 13 taps of the club before you hit it.
No kidding.
I'm going to teach people to tap it 13 times.
That'll make your buddies
About
like you.
5
Oh,
more
yeah,
times.
yeah. Hey, last thing.
13.
Last thing before we let you go. Phil Mickelson, I just brought him up because of his popularity. He took the USGA to task because they want to put a limit on how long your driver can be at 46 inches. I think his is at 48, which allows him to continue to hit the ball as far as a lot of these younger guys. What is your stance on that?
Well, I don't think 48 inches is bad. It's the same for the tour as it is the long driving guys. I talked to Spencer McDaniel about it this morning, that they're trying to keep their length of the driver the same as the tour players, and that extra 2 inches, 46 is what most of them play. That extra 2 inches is so difficult to get the balance right between the shaft flex and the swing weight, because it adds 8 swing weights when you add 2 inches. So they've got to figure out some way to get the shaft and the length and the weight and the grip size to all balance out. And even from years ago, research showed that 46 inches was the most long driving and controllable length for a golf club. And when you get out to 2 more inches, it'll go farther, probably 15 yards maybe.
But who knows where?
It's much more difficult to control. And this comes straight from Scott Felix this morning, from Spencer McDaniel, the guys that are in it and know it and do it. And I remember at Dargie's fitting people for clubs, and the longer the shaft, the heavier it got. And it was just lightweight steel. There was no graphite. So I don't know if you can handle a 48. Yeah, go ahead.
See, I'm the opposite. I say keep it at 46 because I don't want that extra 15 or 20 yards. I think you got to play golf holes the way they were designed. And they weren't designed on a par 5 to go driver 7 iron. You're supposed to hit close to the green in 2 and have a third shot. And nobody's doing that these days. And and
they're hitting wedges from 185 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, even Sergio on that 187-yard par 3 cut an 8 iron. He's 41 years old.
Crazy.
And he's cutting 8 irons from 185. I mean, it's more than just a tee shot.
We've over-teched. That's what we've done.
It's it's a different game than we're used to. I'm just, when Bryson hit that 6 iron from 247 yesterday, I thought that's impossible. And it was, I don't know if he hit it fat or not, but he didn't even get to the bunker. But that's a rip 3-wood.
In the U.S. Amateur, the guy was hitting a 255 yard 6 iron, wasn't it? The young kid that ended up losing, Austin Greaser.
So if you add 2 inches of the driver, what difference does it make?
I don't know.
In the woods anyway.
Thank you, Ted. We'll talk to you next week. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys.
That is our friend, Ted Butler. We take the quick break. When we come back, quick version of Medals, as we always do on Mondays, here on Sports Time on Sports 56.
Grab a seat with Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Mid-South, get ready to enjoy your summer in style sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get all-wheel control system, pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, and 5-star safety rating with your 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross SE. We Gossett $209 a month. Get advanced technology with My Pilot Assist, 7-passenger and fun to drive 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. We Gossett $229 a month. And they're all powered by our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. It's time to get your groove on at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Both 48-month leases, $10,000 per year, $750 loyalty rebate, $500 military rebate, $250 Ally Military CCRA Cross, NZ 003186, MSRP 27725, Outlander NZO 19057, MSRP 20080, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021, dealer stock only.
When you're ready to buy something, the first thing you do is go online. But buying a home is different. You've got loan applications, pre-approvals, competing offers, the list goes on. That's where a Realtor comes in. Realtors have expertise and local knowledge to give you a competitive edge that a search bar just can't. And in today's market, an edge is what you need. So when you're ready to buy a home, the first thing to do is make sure you have an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
A lot of stuff happening over the weekend, so let's get right to it. Time for precious metals. I'll begin with the Tampa Bay Rays. They will get a bronze medal from me. They've won 7 in a row. If you were listening on Friday, Tim Doolin said, the Yankees are going to catch the Rays. They're going to win that division. Not when you win 7 in a row, and that lead is back up to 6 games with 32 to go. The Rays are going to win the Eastern Division. I'm going to give a silver medal to Brett Bielema and Illinois, knocking off Nebraska as underdogs. 2nd year in a row, and a great start for Bielema in Champaign. I'll give a silver medal to Trevor Lawrence. You can't do much better than the Jags quarterback did. He was 11 of 12, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first 3 drives, and that was in Dallas against the Cowboys, albeit a bunch of backups. And then I'm going to give my gold to Patrick Cantlay, who put on the best putting performance since they started strokes gained on the greens, and that analytics began in 2004. That's the best number in the history of that analytic, what he did down the stretch and in the playoffs against Bryson DeChambeau. So that's a little history that you got yesterday, and Cantlay gets a gold medal from me for another victory on the tour.
Just a bronze for me to Brett Bielema, but he is 1-0 at Illinois. He was 4-1 in openers at Arkansas, 7-0 in openers at Wisconsin, now 12-1 overall. He's the perfect fit for Illinois. A lot better fit, I think, than Lovie Smith ever was. Lovie Smith really wasn't a college coach. Brett Bielema is back in the Big Ten, back where he belongs. I still think it was a great hire at Arkansas. He was a proven coach, a big winner in a great league. It just didn't work out. Silver medal goes to Mac Jones with the Patriots. I think he's done enough to be named the starter. Will he be named the starter for opening day? Don't know. He will be the starter at some point. He's the future. Cam is at best the present, if not the past. at worst. My gold
Didn't
medal.
Bill Belichick say he would probably use both? He's hedging his bets a little like Ryan Silverfield is with his two quarterbacks.
My gold medal goes to the San Francisco Giants. Only 5 more Mondays for them to sit in first place after the end of the weekend. That's when it really matters, in 5 more Mondays. And if they don't, here's what the stakes they're playing for. If they stay in first, they'll be the number 1 seed, have home field advantage all the way through in the National League. If they don't finish in first, if they fall to second, they go to that 1-game elimination game, and 1 loss would send them home, and all that great work over. Nobody picked the Giants in the preseason, and they've controlled that division all year. But I think the Dodgers are the best team in the sport.
Well, they're starting to play like it now, that is for sure. I give a Russ medal to Bryson DeChambeau and his putter. He missed 5 straight putts on the last 2 holes of regulation and on 3 playoff holes that would have won him the tournament. You can give him a Russ for his attitude and his cantankerous behavior toward other players. Bottom line is his putter is really what cost him this past weekend.
He's got to dedicate the offseason to his short game. If it becomes prolific, he will be a superstar. He already is, but he'll even be a better player. My Russ goes to, speaking of not working out, Scott Frost turned down Florida to take Nebraska. Remember that a few years ago, and now just 12-21 in his tenure as head coach of the Cornhuskers. And it was all on display Saturday. Turnovers, penalties. He had the down and distance mixed up. He had clock issues. Everything went wrong Saturday for Scott Frost. I'm not big on this, but I thought Brett Bielema outcoached him Saturday.
12-21 at Nebraska, and you and I were in unison on that being a great hire. It's just hard to believe that he has just failed so miserably. And, it's 2 years in a row, Illinois, with mediocre teams, because I don't think this is a great Illinois team that Brett Bielema's got.
And they knocked the quarterback out early.
Yeah.
Illinois was playing with a guy.
Right.
And it was news to him. He was the quarterback. Here's some news for you. It's so fun to get down to All-Star Chevrolet down off Kraft Goodman Road. So fun to see all the new additions, all the new Silverado trucks, all at All-Star Chevy. Get down there today. So many certified pre-owned Chevys. If it's Chevy you want this fall, Olive Branch is where you want to go get it. If you have a car or a truck to sell, All-Star will buy it even if you own it. Or bring the title and you'll get your check written to you today. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Collierville, not Mount Moriah or the Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch. So easy to find. New roads to All-Star Chevrolet, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
The too deep today without – there's a lot of positions that Memphis is just not telling us. And I basically asked Ryan Silverfield, are you just not wanting Nicholls State to know, or are you really still deciding?
In camp mode.
And he said, we really are. And, I think you said something a little earlier. I'm not going to say he said this, but you said it, and I believe it. I think you have to take into account now, when you're making your decisions, if they're really equal, you have to think about the transfer portal.
Yeah. Or it's Cannonball Express.
It is something else. Memphis had 4 quarterbacks in the battle in this camp. There's 2 that are on the 2 deep, and it's either Grant Gunnell or Seth Hennigan. So where is Peter Parrish? And really Keelan Brown, I believe, from what I'm told, is the 3 guy. What would you like to bet that there will be a 4th quarterback that won't be there in a week? That he'll be in the portal.
Everywhere.
That's the new world of college football. And that is 1 hour in the books. When we come back, more on the subject. We'll talk about the Bielema upset. We'll talk about what we got coming this weekend, and that'll be with our friend David Cobb from CBS. He is right around the corner.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. When I talk to people about selling their homes or buying one, my motto is stick to your game plan. I learned this from my friend Coach Terry Tippett. Coach, you didn't go into a game without having a plan, did you?
No, Sheldon. Having a plan was critical to the success of all my teams.
That's right, Coach. Sticking to your game plan helped you win 4 state championships.
That's wrong, Sheldon. It was 6, just like the number of shots you make on a par 3.
Well, Coach, we've played golf together. What advice can you give me about my game?
You probably need to stick to real estate, as you're much better at doing that. Or perhaps bowling.
Great advice about real estate, not bowling. And as I always tell people, if they're thinking of selling their home, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and let me be one of them. As they often say, when you want the job done, Coach, who should they call?
Sheldon, of course.
You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Hey, if you're hungry for great Mexican food for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, got it. La Guadalupana. Guadalupana, Guadalupana. Choose from tacos, burritos, enchiladas, sizzling shrimp, beef, or chicken fajitas, and even a Cuban sandwich filled with Mexican sauces, chicken, ham, steak, jalapenos, avocado, and more. How about super nachos topped with melted cheese, beans, sour cream, guacamole, tomato, and jalapenos? All great with nice cold beer, domestic and imported. Good prices, generous portions, great service at 2 locations, Summer Avenue and Cordova Road. La Guadalupana.
Visit Frontier Western Store this summer to check out tons of new products. Frontier added so many new items in their women's boutique. There are daily arrivals with thousands of on-trend tops, jeans, and pants in stock at amazing prices. And guys, Frontier's your #1 Carhartt store. There's no one around with a larger selection of everyday fits and workwear. Wrangler and Ariat clothing also available. Frontier recently remodeled their entire store and expanded the world-famous boot showroom. Now there are even more dress and work boots in stock. After Ariat boots, then you've got to check out Frontier. There are over 1,000 pair of Ariat boots alone, and thousands more in other brands such as Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, and Twisted X. As if the selection isn't reason enough, there's Frontier's low prices. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so when you're ready for your next pair, you know right where to come. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in hour number 2. Brett Norsworthy back from vacation and doing a lot of R&D down in Oxford. Rain steadily coming down, and it's going to be coming down harder and harder as we get the remnants and a pretty good amount of remnants from Ida, where we know how devastating it has been down in New Orleans and a bunch of parts of Louisiana and the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. 1 million people without power. It could be out for several weeks. And with that rain coming, we tell you to be alert. Just stay close. Whatever you get your information from regarding the weather, you may want to relate to it, because they are saying we could have flash floods here. We could have some tornadoes here. We are going to definitely have a lot of hard rain coming, and it starts a little bit later in the evening all throughout the night. You know, in our first segment, on Mondays, we talk to our friend from CBS, David Cobb, who joins us now. And this just in, the SEC became the latest to announce its cancellation policy with a forfeit mandate, which is similar to the rest of the Power Five. A policy means that you'll hand a forfeit to any team unable to play because of COVID, assigning a win to the conference standings to the team that can play. The SEC says it will consider financial reimbursement to any team whose game was canceled through no fault of their own. So they're actually going to take money and give the sort of the victim of it all. If both teams are unable to play, they both take losses in the conference standings. So double forfeits. Wow, that's what we got. That is similar to the way the ACC was doing it. And I guess in these instances, David Cobb, that's about as fair as you can get.
Yeah, it's what the entire Power Five is doing. So glad we're moving in that direction. You know, we just kind of got to, from a competitive standpoint, we kind of got to get a move on with it, you know. I don't think anybody wants the rash of postponements and cancellations and late shuffling of the schedules like we had last year. I mean, about the only thing that I can think of that good that came out of the way things transpired last year was the fact that we got that Coastal Carolina BYU game on the schedule on pretty short notice, which was an awesome game. BYU might not have appreciated the short notice and traveling across the country, but anybody who watched that game appreciated that they pulled it off. But anyway, the fact is, you know, that was a bad situation last year. And you know what? I think it's gonna be the move going forward. We'll see. You know, maybe if there's a huge number of disruptions, they'll go back to the drawing board on it. As we've seen, nothing is really permanent or solidified in this moment in our history. But I definitely agree with those policies, and it really kind of incentivizes programs to encourage their players to get vaccinated. And you know, look, it seems like more and more of the country is kind of catching on that, hey, that's the thing to do. And, you know, football programs have been pretty solid on it. You know, obviously we've all seen Ole Miss leading the way 100%. So I think it's the right move.
David, there are so many games this week that it's put up or shut up time. One of the biggest will be for Kirby Smart. If Dabo Swinney and Clemson loses, well, they know they've got to run the table the rest of the year and really look good and do it. And he also can walk by that national championship trophy in his trophy case, and the other times he's been really close. If Kirby loses, he doesn't have that. He can't go by his trophy case. All he can go by and look at is VCR tapes of Herschel Walker.
Yeah. Yeah, well said. It's huge for both teams. I think I agree with you. I think it's probably bigger for Georgia because it almost feels, maybe this is wrong, I don't know, the ACC, North Carolina, Clemson, you know, getting more dangerous, or North Carolina and Miami getting more dangerous. Maybe, you know, Clemson would slip up somewhere along the way. But at the end of the day, I think Clemson's path, even with a loss to Georgia, is still pretty pristine for them to make the playoff. And Georgia's schedule is not hard by SEC standards, but, I mean, I just feel like regardless of how the schedule shapes up, there's going to be more landmines going through the SEC than there are going through the ACC. So I think Clemson can be okay. They can survive this. But you're right. There's more pressure on Georgia. And I don't like necessarily the way that things are trending for them. I mean, it sounds like Eric Gilbert's not going to play in that game. Sounds like Darnell Washington's not going to play in that game for Georgia. So, I mean, those are two really big targets, two guys that give Todd Monken big-time mismatches at receiver and tight end when they're playing, and they're not going to be playing. So I think that helps Clemson, that Georgia's already kind of hit the injury bug a little bit. But huge game nonetheless. I think Clemson's favored at the moment. I still kind of lean Georgia a little bit, but man, it's awesome that we get a game like that right out of the gate.
What is your take on what's going on in Lincoln, Nebraska? Now 12-21 in his career, Scott Frost as the skipper at Nebraska, and losing to an Illinois team that honestly we think is just a very mediocre team. Brett Bielema, his first year of taking over, and a win that a lot of people actually, prognosticators, saw coming.
Yeah, that's oof. It's not a good situation, but he's protected in some way by that massive buyout because he got an extension that he didn't deserve from the previous athletic director. And, you know, your listeners who are Tennessee fans can relate to that situation because when things went downhill with Jeremy Pruitt, they ended up getting creative and finding a way to fire him. And they've kind of laid the groundwork to do the same for Scott Frost.
Definitely.
You know, obviously the punchline
Palace coup.
The punchline on Saturday was, are we sure that Nebraska and Scott Frost have been staging illegal practices? Because it certainly doesn't look like they've been practicing too much. I forget who put that out there first, but it was funny and it rings very true. So it's you know, their three choices as things stand now are to ride it out with Scott Frost, fire him and eat a massive buyout, or try to pull a coup and do what Tennessee did, which is say, see ya, we're firing you with cause, and then, oh, by the way, we'll probably see you again in court, you know, a few months or a few years down the line.
David, it's really hard to draw a comparison to Nebraska because at the turn of the 20th into the 21st century, they were probably the number one team maybe in the history of college football with all that winning over two great coaches, Bob Devaney and over Tom Osborne. So it's hard to compare it, but at Tennessee fans have to look at Nebraska. If they can't get up off the canvas, when can we?
Yeah, I think the big difference that I see between those two programs, because there are a lot of parallels historically, you know, them both peaking in the 90s and having a rough go
each other.
You know, in fact, I grew up a Tennessee fan, as you guys know, and I actually grew up kind of hating Nebraska, oddly enough, because
they were so good.
Were the team. Yeah, and they were the team that beat Tennessee in Peyton Manning's last game at the end of the 1997 season, and that was when I was really starting to pay attention to college football, and they were elite. They ran the option, and Eric Crouch was homegrown guy. Scott Frost, obviously homegrown guy. I don't know exactly the details of what Nebraska used to do, but they used to be on the cutting edge. I mean, I was at the College Football Hall of Fame this morning, and one of the exhibits was about the evolution of strength training. And apparently Bob Devaney was on the cutting edge of having of a strength coach. And that was just sort of something that was not really all that common. He instituted a strength program, and it was revolutionary. And so you think about, what Nebraska has been good at historically. It's typically been doing something different, whether it was being the first to do strength training or whether it was being the program that ran the option better than anybody else in the country. I just don't see them having success in this era with that lack of talent in the surrounding area just by trying to do the same thing as everybody else. And I don't know that Scott Frost's system, especially with Adrian Martinez at quarterback, is fooling anybody. I mean, he came out and said today, with the way Illinois lined up defensively, it took about half their playbook away right out of the gate. And you got to be better prepared for that. You got to have some wrinkles you can throw at a defense that's going to, that they're not prepared for. And so, I don't know. I mean, I think if you want to take an optimistic look at Tennessee, how much is what Josh Heupel is about to do? How much has that been tried in the league? I don't know. I think Ole Miss kind of does it a little bit. The veer and shoot, spread them out, have the receivers out wide to where they're almost on the sideline when the ball is snapped, and open up the field, as wide as you can to try and create mismatches with speed. I don't know if it'll work. At least it's something different that Tennessee's going to be trying offensively. And so I think Nebraska in the long run's got to do something different. And I'm not saying they got to go triple option like, 2000s Georgia Tech under Bobby Johnson, but they need to do something original because I think that's where they had their success in the past. And then with Tennessee, I mean, I don't necessarily believe that that's, what they have to do, but if they're not going to recruit and get the top guys out of Nashville and the top guys out of Atlanta, which they're not doing right now, then, they've got to do something original, and I'm curious to see to what degree Heupel's air it out, veer and shoot kind of thing can work in the SEC.
What do you think, and we're about to start to make predictions throughout the week on SEC and AC football teams, what do you think is a fair expectation this year with Heupel trying to run that offense you just talked about, maybe not having the personnel quite to run it like he did at UCF? What do you think is a fair record for Heupel in Tennessee this year?
Hey, I mean, I think with the schedule they've got, it's not that tough by Tennessee standards. I mean, their big non-conference game is Pitt, which is a middle-of-the-road ACC team. Maybe a ceiling for Pitt of 8-4, but not a team that is really going to challenge for the ACC title. That's their marquee non-conference game, and so if you get that one week 2, I mean you've got a 4-0 non-conference, pretty well locked up. I think with the lackluster caliber of the other 3. And then so you got to figure out a way to beat Vanderbilt and South Carolina at that point to get bowl eligible. Or if they lose to Pitt, you've got to beat Vanderbilt and South Carolina. And then you got to steal one from Missouri, from Kentucky, or from Ole Miss. And I don't think Tennessee's going to be favored in any of those games. But if they lose to Pittsburgh, they're going to have to beat one of those 3 teams to get bowl eligible. And frankly, if Josh Heupel got to 6 wins, that would put him, with a better record in his first year than Butch Jones or Jeremy Pruitt. So that could be an incredibly successful first year for him and give him something that his 2 most recent predecessors didn't have, which is a bowl appearance in year 1. And I absolutely think that no matter how many holes are on that defense, and there are plenty of them, that there is a path to 6 wins. It's not really all that outrageous for Tennessee.
David, we know the signature home win, what that's marked by a lot of places, is tearing the goalpost down. Often the signature road win is met by the fans meeting the team back out at the airport. Well, we know that would be the case if UT won on the road September 25th at Florida. I don't think they will. If they win on the road at Columbia the next week against Mizzou, is that a meet the team at the airport win?
I hope not. If that's where Tennessee is, where they're meeting the team at the airport after they knock off that Missouri team with a second-year coach, I mean, that's honestly just embarrassing for Tennessee. If they beat Florida, I'll allow it.
For sure. You head out there. You paint yourself orange and head to the airport.
Yeah. There's an assumption out there, and I don't know where you guys fall on it, that it feels like we're putting the cart ahead of the horse with Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz. It's like, he had a decent first year. What were they, 5-5? They were all right, but like I'm not sold that Missouri is this ascendant, rising third power in the East that will soon be challenging, Florida and Georgia. And hearing some of the pundits in the preseason talk them up, you would think they were there already. And
David, I'll tell you a funny
on.
story about meeting the team at the airport. So when Ole Miss beats Tim Tebow and the Gators down in the swamp in 2008, well, we came back and there were different buses. For some reason, as Dabo Swinney calls it, the Roy bus, the rest of y'all, and that's the one I'm always on, we pulled into town first. Everybody just going crazy. And I thought, boy, you're going to be so disappointed when you see who walks off this bus.
Hey, I'd give you a standing O.
Well, thank you, David.
You deserve it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Going back to Tennessee, and if you were to win even the game in Columbia to get yourself most likely bowl eligible, with the hard times they've had and where they sit right now, and you were just talking about it. I mean, they're looking at Nebraska going, "Whoa, wow!" I mean, college football's changed. New schools have come on that have taken players that would have been a lock to go to Tennessee in the past. I don't, if you're going to be joyous, it's okay, because these things come incrementally, and they're a long way from being a really good program.
Dave Woloshin, I'm really more with you. I do think victories should be enjoyed and appreciated.
Yeah, at the same time, though, Tennessee fans have kind of been through that. They got to 9 wins under Butch Jones. They got to a point where, Butch was trying to pitch them on being the first Tennessee team to win back-to-back, 9-win seasons. And they don't go for that. The standards are too high, for better, for worse. I'm interpreting to you how the fan base feels. That's a fan base that I know very well. And I can tell you that winning a game at Missouri is going to be big for that program, but it's not going to be that that all-encompassing sort of we're back moment. I mean, at the end of the day, Tennessee fans, I think from here until they stop playing college football or until the SEC disbands, they're going to judge themselves based off their competitiveness with the likes of Florida and Georgia. And they've given up on Alabama, and maybe in 10 years they'll give up on Florida or Georgia too, but I don't think they're there yet. And that's maybe because they live in a state of delusion, but that's the reality. I mean, if you can compare Tennessee and Missouri historically, there's no reason why Missouri should be a team far enough ahead of you in the pecking order to where you would look at a victory over them as some sort of monumental occasion.
David, let's talk East and West winners and also talk LSU going to the Rose Bowl Stadium that was totally empty.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of good seats available last week. Probably won't be as many good seats this week for LSU and UCLA. Give me a winner in that one and give me your East-West SEC winners.
Yeah, so I'm on UCLA for that UCLA-LSU game, and I have been for several months now. I like this Chip Kelly team. I know he's kind of in that. Their fan base is different, but he's kind of in that Scott Frost situation in that, one of those guys going into his fourth year who was viewed as a slam dunk hire, who was massively underperformed. But unlike Scott Frost in Nebraska, I actually really like this UCLA team, and they have a tough schedule. Obviously, they open with LSU, but they also get Washington and Oregon out of the North in the Pac-12. So I'm not sitting here going to tell you they're going to win 10 games because it's a tough slate. But if you told me that they upset LSU or USC or one of those Pac-12 North powers, not going to be at all surprised. And I love them in this spot against LSU because, as we know, LSU is on a coordinator carousel now, third straight year with new
all the King's horses, all the King's men to keep O propped up.
Exactly. And so with them being down to Max Johnson at quarterback and obviously just the breaking in a new system 2 time zones away in a place where SEC teams have struggles
and a lot going on back home.
Yeah, and against the UCLA team, oh, by the way, that got a game in against a decent Mountain West team. I mean, Hawaii went 5-4 against the Mountain West last year, a team that won 10 games the season before that, and UCLA just beat them to a pulp on Saturday. And so I like UCLA in that game. And then, East and West, Georgia, no surprise. And then West, I've got Alabama. Again, no surprise. I'm just so down on LSU and kind of I got to see it to believe it, I guess, a little bit with A&M. I'm pretty optimistic about Haynes King at quarterback. I mean, some of the stuff you read, kind of gives you a vibe that they think the ceiling is going to be higher with him than it was under Kellen Mond. So that bodes well. But, I mean, I keep flashing back to last year and Alabama winning that game 52-24. And I got to see something that tells me that gap has closed before I can dethrone Alabama out of the West.
I'm looking at Chip Kelly's record since 2015, his last year in Philadelphia, where he was 6-9. Then he was 2-14 in San Francisco. Then he went to UCLA, where he's going 3-9, 4-8, 3-4, and now he's 1-0. So he's 57-28. Collegiately at UCLA, he's 11-21 at UCLA, and then you go.
Stuff doesn't do much for me though. If he'd won there, he'd still be there.
Well, I'm just saying he if you go back to the last 6-7 years, the guy he's won a total of 19 games.
Yeah, and here, I'm not going to defend the way he's recruited at UCLA. For them to be good long-term, he's got to start recruiting better. And there's really no excuse for him not to, given the area, where UCLA is and the attraction that UCLA can be if marketed properly, to prospects. But for this team in particular, if you kind of pick at the margins a little bit, they were really close last year. I mean, they lost a 3-point game to Oregon. They lost a 6-point game to Colorado. All 4 of their losses last year in a 7-game season were by 1 possession or less. I mean, they were right there in it. Their offense actually started to look a little bit like a Chip Kelly type of offense, and they bring so much back. And so that's where I look at that UCLA-LSU game, and I see so many question marks on the LSU side, and I see so many things to me that appear pretty well known on the UCLA side, just with the number of returning starters. And I know pushing around Hawaii and pushing around LSU up front are 2 totally different things, but Dorian Thompson-Robinson didn't have to do anything through the air against Hawaii. I mean, they didn't have to tip their hands, I don't think, at all in that game. And so I think I think them having played a game is a tremendous advantage. I don't know what the records are historically, when a team is playing its first game versus somebody who has one under their belt. But in this situation, I see it benefiting UCLA quite a bit.
All right. We'll know this weekend. That's the best part.
David, we're out next Monday, so we won't talk to you just prior to the Ole Miss Louisville game. Are you buying all this love for Ole Miss? Robert Griffin picking Matt Corral to win the Heisman Trophy?
Wow. Yeah, I missed that. That's insane. Wow. I don't know if I'm buying that. I tell you what I am really interested in though. I'm really interested in seeing John Rice Plumlee in the slot.
Me too.
What do you have? Six catches in the bowl game? His first game playing it?
Wouldn't have won without him.
Yeah, and so now that he's had a few months to really work on it, nail down the technique, we saw what he could do as a freshman with the ball in his hands. And this is going to sound maybe a bit far fetched, but I really like the outfielder sort of skill set as a slot receiver because if you're used to running full speed and looking in different directions to try and catch a moving object, which is what you do as an outfielder, I think that translates pretty well to playing wide receiver.
Great take.
So, I like him in that position. And, of course, that doesn't mean he's going to replace Elijah Moore. That's going to be a team effort. But, yeah, I do like Ole Miss. I don't know. I kind of waffle between Ole Miss and Auburn as that number 3 team in the SEC West because I've got LSU down at 5. I mean, I'm way down on LSU. And
wow.
So I'm kind of I struggle with.
I got LSU going to Atlanta, David.
Yeah, I mean that.
I've got them really good too. And I've got them beating UCLA this week, that's for sure.
Whoa,
right.
David Cobb, bring it.
Yeah.
All right, David, your single favorite exhibit, doodad, trinket in the College Football Hall of Fame. One thing, if you could tell people to go and see one thing, what would it be?
Yeah, okay, so obviously the helmet wall when you walk in just blows you away because you got, I don't even know which, I think it's all the way down through Division III.
It
represented.
is. Yeah.
Yeah,
because I found a friend of mine for him. I found Sewanee up there, found Rhodes College up there.
Yeah, and I chose to represent Coastal Carolina today, just for fun.
Good for you.
You get to choose your team when you check in, and so going through there, I thought one thing today that was cool that I hadn't seen in there before. They had an exhibit dedicated to coaching carousels, which I think is kind of a term that we've coined in the last probably 15 years or so. But it was cool going back into time and like seeing the carousel of a Bear Bryant and. They really did a good job of sort of depicting that and explaining, some of the better coaching trees in college football history. So that was something new that I don't think was there the last time I was there, and so I appreciated that.
Does the tree where do they start? Like Newt Rockne and his tree from there, or?
Yeah. There was a Notre Dame one, but then there were some that were kind of obsolete too that I didn't realize. Like I didn't realize that like Miami of Ohio is considered the cradle of coaches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the list goes on. I mean, I clearly didn't take close notes because I can't name you all the coaches that have come from Miami of Ohio, but it's a ton of really good ones. And
David, I told you today. I texted you. I want to ask them sometime to let me sleep there at night.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, you were there, Stats, a few years back when they had the SEC Media Days there, and they had like a mixer event for all the media there. Mm-hmm. We got to just explore and stuff, and I thought that was cool. And then it's going to be all over your TV screen the next few days because they were doing early preparations to bring in, I think it's the SEC Nation set that's going to be there. So it's about to be the epicenter, with those 2 Chick-fil-A kickoff games. It was fun to be there today, kind of seeing the calm before the storm.
Isn't Don Shula part of the Miami of Ohio?
I think Don Shula is.
Yeah. I think he is too. David Cobb, as always.
Great stuff, David.
We love chatting with you. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy Labor Day. We'll chat with you in a couple of weeks.
All right, sounds good.
That is terrific. That is David Cobb from CBS Sports. Our title sponsor for this hour of the program's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, right on the corner of Highway 78 or I-22, whatever you want to call it, and Craft Road, and I know it's Craft Road. That's the very first exit in the state of Mississippi, so it's close by, and you just go down Lamar. That's how you start in Memphis. Turn left there, and you'll see a sales team that has been together for close now to 15 years. This may be the 15th football season they're all together. Just great guys that are in finance, great guys that are in sales, great guys that are in maintenance. This is a crew that just knows how to take care of you. It starts with the philosophy of Chris True, and that is serving the customer. And that's why they give you a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every new car. They're going to change your oil and rotate your tires, make sure everything is running at peak efficiency. And then there's the product itself, those safe Hyundais, those luxurious, beautiful G cars. And they're all durable because you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile maintenance package, limited powertrain warranty, on every new car. A 10-year guarantee. Oh, come on. You can't beat that. I promise you. They've raised the bar. Go see what I'm talking about. Just go see my friends at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We pause for a second, and when we come back, we'll make some picks. And what we've got coming your way in just a minute will be the fates, we think, of these teams that are going to be fun to watch. We'll start with Vandy, South Carolina, Missouri, the aforementioned Missouri, and Kentucky. And I think Missouri and Kentucky are going to do pretty well. How well? Stick around.
You have opinions?
The knowledge that I have matters.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hi, this is Troy 5 owner of 5 Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? 5 Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
The 34th Annual Memphis Chevy Show, presented by T-Mobile, makes its return to the Memphis International Raceway September 10th and 11th. The premier destination for all things Chevrolet features multiple classes of drag racing, an automotive swap meet, jet dragsters, and more. Get your vehicle registered and enter it in a professionally judged car show, or just put it on display. You can also just sit back and enjoy the show. Tickets are now on sale online at just $20 for Friday and $25 for Saturday. Don't miss out on the largest car show in the Mid-South. Go to racemir.com for more information.
I'm Dr. George Flynn, Chairman of the Board of Flynn Broadcasting.
Other stations might consider you to be a listener. I don't, and we don't. You are a family member, and I want the best for you and your family. So please get vaccinated against COVID. It saves hospitalizations and can save your life. I've had 3 rounds of vaccines on clinical trials with no side effects other than maybe a sore arm for 24 hours. I want to protect you, my family, and would never suggest something that might harm you. Please get vaccinated and feel safe in knowing you've done your part to beat COVID-19. I care about you, so please get vaccinated. All of us at Flynn Broadcasting want to keep you healthy, so please get vaccinated.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Cruising through our rainy Monday afternoon, just a reminder. Remnants of Ida on the way. Be prepared. Stay close to whatever gets you your weather info, because it could get a little bit rougher as the night goes on. Possible flash flooding, really heavy rain, high winds, possible tornadic activity, we are told. Don't know for sure. I think most of it will happen late at night, but be aware. So that's why I say just have whatever you get your weather from, have it ready so you are certainly prepared.
If you were thinking about casting in Hollywood names that sounded like Texas quarterbacks, could you come up with better names than Hudson Card at Texas and Haynes King at Texas A&M?
No, they're great. Those are great. Typical for Texas quarterbacks.
Didn't Rock Hudson star in a movie and he was Haynes King in it? I mean, it sounds like something like that, doesn't it?
No, I don't know. But he would have been a good-looking quarterback, I can tell you that. All right. We do this annual exercise of trying to pick everybody in the SEC, and I think maybe the first time we're doing all the American, right?
We're doing it. We do all the American every year. We're going to do them all this week. We got to get them all in. If you agree or disagree, we want yours at the AutoZone text line, phone line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at AutoZone. The 4 SEC teams we're going to do in this tranche. I don't have any of them having a great year and only one of them having a bad year. That's Vandy. I got 3 wins for Vandy. They're 3 wins against East Tennessee, Colorado State, and UConn. UConn looked horrible Saturday against Fresno. They looked like they didn't care. I don't think they cared. That's my 3 wins for Vanderbilt.
I've got them with 1 extra win. I think they'll beat Stanford in Nashville.
Whoa, you do? In the 1600 SAT Bowl?
Yes, I do. That's it, and I don't have them winning a single SEC game. So.
Brian?
I have them winning 3 games, East Tennessee, UConn, and
Colorado State.
Yeah.
Okay.
So none of us have them with a conference win.
Clarkley get that win at home against Stanford. That's big for him, isn't it?
I think it would be huge, yeah. I mean,
because David Shaw's he's one of the poobahs of the sport, isn't he?
Well, it would certainly go a long, long way if they were to win a conference game. And they got Mississippi State in Nashville. That could happen.
Got Missouri at home.
They got Missouri at home. I think Missouri's a good team, though. I really do.
Go there then.
All right. I've got Missouri, and I could tell by the way that you had it, I've got Missouri and Kentucky much better than possibly you do. But I've got Missouri Central, a win over Central Michigan, but I got them losing to Kentucky and Lexington. Southeast Missouri, Boston College, I think they beat Tennessee at home. I think they beat Vandy in Nashville. I think they beat South Carolina in Columbia. And I've got them beating Arkansas. So I've got them 8-4 and 4-4 in the league.
And you had a win over North Texas as well,
yes,
right?
North Texas, yeah.
Just 6-6 for me for Mizzou. 13.5-point favorite this Saturday against Jimmy McElwain's Chippewas, old SEC coach there. I've got him with the 6 wins over Central Michigan, SEMO, Boston College at Chestnut Hill, win at home over Tennessee, no meeting at the airport, win over North Texas, win over Vandy, and that's it. Losses, the 6 losses, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, and on Thanksgiving Friday afternoon, when everybody's shopping, the Razorbacks beat them in Fayetteville.
Wow. So you must have Arkansas better than I do. We'll get to that later in the week.
6 up, 6 down for Mizzou. Brian?
I think I'm the same as Dave. I have them as with 8 wins.
Okay.
Next up, you want to go to Kentucky?
Start it.
Okay. I'm high on Kentucky. I think they're going to beat Louisiana Monroe this weekend. I think they beat Missouri, as I've already said, knocking off Chattanooga.
That's 3-0 for both of us.
And I got South Carolina.
4-0 for Dave, not for me.
Here's the big upset. I've got them beating Florida at home.
5-0. What are they ranked?
They'll be ranked.
Will John Calipari go to a football game if they're 5-0 in rank?
Absolutely. If it's at home, he'll be there. They lose to LSU at home, lose to Georgia, lose to Mississippi State, beat Tennessee, beat Vandy, beat New Mexico State, beat Louisville. I've got them 9-3 and 5-3 in the league.
That's Coach of the Year stuff, isn't it?
That is. I'm a big Stoops guy.
Bryant?
I've got them with 8 wins. I have them losing to Florida, and then I have them losing that final game to Louisville. So those are the 2 differences I have from Dave.
Well, we've got all the numbers covered. 9 for Dave, 8 for Bryant, 7 for me. Wins over Lou Monroe, Mizzou, and Chattanooga to start, and then 4 straight losses. South Carolina, Florida, LSU, and Georgia. Opened 8, and then another loss in Starkville to the Bullies. Then they beat Tennessee in Lexington. They defeat Vandy in Nashville. They win at home against New Mexico State, and they win the Governor's Cup. 7 up, 5 down, 2-6 in the SEC. And that's still a pretty good year.
Yeah. I got them 5-3 in league play, so we differ quite a bit right there. South Carolina,
tough one to call.
I've got them struggling. They'll beat Eastern Illinois at home, and
what about Eastern Carolina?
They'll beat East Carolina too.
Okay. Has anybody ever called East Carolina Eastern Carolina?
No,
they'd get mad, wouldn't they?
They would. They're proud of Greenville's.
Oh yeah,
Greenville's like doubled or tripled in size since we used to go there in the late '80s, early '90s.
Dave, and we remember their pride and prowess much more distinguished than even now. Dowdy Ficklin at one time was probably the nicest stadium in the league, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. So there's a couple of things about East Carolina that are interesting. First of all, Greenville's more than doubled in size in the last 25, 30 years. Used to be you'd have to land a charter at the airport about 30 miles away.
And it was
Kinston.
dicey getting in and getting out, wasn't it?
You'd have to land in Kinston. You couldn't land in Greenville. When they came into I guess it was CUSA, was the first time they came into a league with Memphis. Mike Slive was the commissioner at the time, and he said, the only way we'll let you in the conference is you have to have a longer runway so that so that big charter jets can land.
Mike could ask in such a nice way.
So they did that, and it worked out for their economy. I think it helped to increase their population because then they started getting regional airplanes to come, and it really did grow. And you mentioned Dowdy Ficklin. That's the first place I ever saw that would have like a 2-hour pregame show. And they would tie in their Jumbotron. They were the first ones to really use that Jumbotron to engage their fans. It was really good stuff. And they would get 50,000 a game. I mean, they were the best drawing in the conference in the old CUSA. So, but they're still going to lose South Carolina, even if it's in Greenville. And so South Carolina starts off 2-0, and then they lose to Georgia, to Kentucky. They'll beat Troy. They'll lose to Tennessee and Knoxville. They'll beat Vandy. They'll lose to A&M. They'll lose to Florida. They'll lose to Missouri. They'll lose to Auburn. They'll lose to Clemson. I've only got them 4-8 and 1-7 in the league.
Tough first year for a first-time head coach. Bryant?
Mine's identical to Dave's.
Is that right?
Yep.
Copy and paste. My South Carolina, I have them 6-6. Wins over Eastern Illinois and East Carolina. Lose to Georgia. Win over Kentucky. Win over Troy. Loss at Tennessee, a win over Vanderbilt, a loss at College Station, a loss at home in Columbia to the Gators, an upset win on the road when Columbia faces Columbia. The boys from South Carolina get the win, and then they close the year out with 2 tough games and 2 maybe ugly losses to Brian Harsin and Auburn in Columbia, and in Columbia to Dabo Swinney that's got it rolling. 6-6 for me for South Carolina. 3-5 though in the SEC. That's good first year stuff for Shane Beamer.
That would be really good stuff if that were to be the case. Can you win at South Carolina?
Yes, Steve Spurrier did, Lou Holtz did, and that's Steve Spurrier and Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
But it's been much tougher for others like like Will Muschamp.
Yeah, well, Will Muschamp couldn't win in Gainesville. He was going to have a hard time winning in Columbia, South Carolina.
Isn't that always the case?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dave, I tell you something you got to keep your eye on. I saw the uncut version. It's debuting on the SEC Network in about 2 weeks on SEC Storied, and I think it's going to run first time on a Tuesday night. The voices of the SEC, and prominently featured will be, of course, John Ward, Jack Crystal, Larry Munson, Eli Gold, Mick Hubert, but all the voices of the past. Great highlights. It's narrated and kind of hosted by Mike Keith. He's terrific in it. I mean, Mike Keith almost steals the show, and you know he's not trying to.
Right. No, Mike is very gracious. He was actually on the air with us last week.
I know you were. I was texting with him on the day that you had him on, and everybody's just going to love it. And there's a dash of basketball in the tribute to Kaywood Ledford at Kentucky,
wow.
And there's a dash of baseball to Joe Fisher and his announcing duties and his long, great run. It's now over at Vanderbilt.
Eli Gold is still doing Alabama football, is he not?
He is. He's the dean now. He's 1. Mick Hubert at Florida is 2, and David Kellum's 3 in seniority now.
Well, you know, I go back and I think about some of those names you just mentioned. John Ward, what a gentleman he was and how smart he was. Jack Crystal, that growly, smoky voice.
Guess what they found on video? On video, not only do they have the audio, but they've got it on video, the sonic drive of the game cut with his daughter's reactions.
Oh, my gosh. On video they got that? I got to see that.
His daughters are precious on it. They're precious on it. I told the person, I said, please get me an address where I can mail a note to them. And I know they miss him so much, but he is celebrated so much. It's almost like Jack's not gone at State, and it's like a lot of these announcers aren't going, like Paul Eels at Arkansas. And
he was outstanding. Do they have anything with him on that?
Yeah, got his great call to the Matt Jones to Corey Birmingham play that got them in the SEC championship game and the big upset over LSU at War Memorial. It's so many great calls, and I think people are just going to love it. I told the person with the SEC office, you've gone over and above with this one. Hey, here's a way to go over and above with all this football. Call the commissary, or better yet, text the commissary. Text either the Germantown commissary or the Collierville commissary at 33733. If you're craving an easier way to order, text 33733 or go to commissarybarbecue.com or go to either place. The new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown where barbecue nachos originated. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, delicious, authentic, slow-cooked, the Memphis way. Begin that feast with great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or those barbecue nachos, smoked chicken wings. It's almost an entree, just any of those appetizers. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, all the fixings, beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. And with football season starting, may be a little early yet, but at one point, we'll start telling you, won't we, Dave, about getting on the list for the Thanksgiving holiday bird. Coming soon, we'll be talking about the bird. And save room for dessert. Best lemon icebox pie I've had anywhere, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Anywhere. Terrific banana pudding, 754-5540. Online at commissarybarbecue.com in Collierville and Germantown in the party areas. Next Monday night, watch Ole Miss in Louisville outside at the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar.
We mentioned all those great announcers, and Larry Munson maybe was the most creative. And the other thing about Larry Munson, I'm sure they don't have any of this. Larry Munson was one of the best quarterback club speakers I ever saw. You talk about a guy who could spin a tale. He
dominated the room,
else.
didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and you could tell he loved it when he was speaking. He wanted the attention. He wanted every eye in the room on him.
And he did. And there was only one other guy that I would put in that league in a touchdown club, and that was Howard Schnellenberger, the old coach.
Yeah.
Howard Schnellenberger.
He was that good.
Had such a great voice, and he would not use a microphone. He would literally walk around the room and boom, his voice, and
Well,
tell
it was
his
like
stories.
a projector voice.
Oh, it was good
Dave,
stuff.
and we talked about it with Buck Ballou at SEC Media Days. It's still people have to go and look. I mean, sometimes I have to go and look after I know the truth. But the play to Lindsey Scott, the only touchdown catch Lindsey Scott made all year, and the Larry Munson call has been heard far and wide.
Yeah.
I would bet
Go,
people.
Lindsey.
Go to Google and listen to the Al Michaels call for ABC TV that day. It's not better, but it's just as good.
Oh, well, you're talking with Al Michaels, one of the greats of all time. That is for certain. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll put a wrap on our number 2 of this Monday edition, College Football Monday on Sportstime.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
AC trouble? Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60. Then this year, Air Doctors is the official HVAC contractor for St. Jude Dream House. Air Doctors installed the St. Jude Dream House new Train high-efficiency equipment. Get your service from the best. AirDoctorsOfMemphis.com. Call 901-598-HVAC.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Mid-South, get ready to enjoy your summer in style sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get all-wheel control system, pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, and 5-star safety rating with your 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross SE. We Gossett $209 a month. Get advanced technology with My Pilot Assist, 7-passenger and fun to drive 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. We Gossett $229 a month. And they're all powered by our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. It's time to get your groove on at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Both 48-month leases, $10,000 per year, $750 loyalty rebate, $500 military rebate, $250 Ally Military CCRA Cross, NZ 003186, MSRP 27725, Outlander NZO 19057, MSRP 20080, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021, dealer stock only.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Final portion, hour number 2, brought to you by the Spirit Shop. Weekend's over. You want to restock. We got lots of football this week. You want to be sure you're in the game, so to speak, and this is the place to go and do that. It's so conveniently located, East Memphis, right there at Poplar and St. Nick, 4646 Poplar, straight down from Clark Tower, which, by the way, I see that story today, $12 million worth of renovations going to be done to Clark Tower as they're trying to spruce that whole area up. But anyway, you're right down the street from there, and there's that little log cabin. Really isn't so little inside, you wouldn't believe. All the product that is in there, the latest in every kind of spirit you could possibly want in all the different price ranges, from rare like bourbons to middle-of-the-road tequilas to special vodkas, or maybe some bargains. Maybe a bargain gin if that's what you're looking for. Same thing with wines, all kinds of beer, even some of the local IPAs they carry right in the spirit shop. Any kind of accessory, and you'll get an education. Walk in there, Eddie Connor or his family or any of the great friendly workers there. They'll love talking spirits with you. They'll educate you. You'll love the whole experience at the spirit shop. Looks like Rondo, who will be clearing waivers today, was let go by the Grizzlies, is going to sign a $2.6 million deal with the Lakers. He'll still get his whole $7.5 million salary because there was a buyout that he got from the Grizzlies.
You know, we lost in golf to Team Young. The Lakers are Team Old.
Boy, they are. There are, I think there's like 5 guys that were all-stars in 2012 on that team.
Dave, the end of the year, if they had that disaster, all of them kind of injured at the same time, the Lakers could be out of the playoff picture.
How many?
Anthony Davis would be hurt.
If it is LeBron, they're in trouble. If it's Anthony Davis, they're in trouble. Those are the two guys.
Those are the two.
By the way, Anthony Davis was not one of those that was an all-star in 2005. That was the year, I think, his last year in college.
His only year in college was 2012 when Kentucky won it.
That's what I'm saying, 2012. There's 5 guys on this team now that were all-stars in the NBA in that year, his 1 year at Kentucky, 2012.
And that was at the Dome. That was in New Orleans, last time New Orleans hosted the Final Four.
Yeah. Carmelo, Rondo, LeBron. I'm trying to remember who the other 2 guys on that team. Oh, Dwight Howard is one of them. So the odds are there's going to be a bunch of hurt guys.
Got to be. That's a lot of birthday candles.
Yeah.
Even for LeBron.
You know, it seems like we're turning the page here. Maybe it's Phoenix that will continue their role. Maybe Denver, maybe Utah even could supplant what the Lakers had going. The Lakers got that 1 year in the bubble. Reemergence of Golden State with Klay Thompson coming back.
John Conchar and the Grizzlies.
Well, I'm glad that you brought it up because I was worried. You know, McDermott, if it wasn't for McDermott getting cut, Conchar could have been gone.
Conchar cut? There's no way. You can't have a franchise without him.
Isn't that amazing how he continues to hold? He's on a 2-way contract, isn't he? His deal is a 2-way, isn't it?
I just wear the jersey. I don't keep up with the contractual status.
I want you, because you keep bringing that up, I really want you to take a selfie and send it to me. Text it to me of you.
I try not to scare people with selfies.
In that uniform. Because I frankly am having a hard time believing that you
What am I going to do with my Rondo jersey?
He is a 2-way guy. I thought he was. So the Grizzlies, I think the Grizzlies, with the 2-way guys they got, I think they got like 19 guys still.
When it's all over for LeBron in Los Angeles, if his only title was the bubble title, does that scratch up the legacy any in Los Angeles?
No, he got one. He got one there. He got one in Miami. He got
in
one
Los
in
Angeles. That's what I asked. Yeah. Not Miami. In Los Angeles, does it scratch it up?
What do you give me what you mean by scratch it up?
The only title was down in the bubble in front of nobody.
You get a title, it's still a title. Everybody had to play under the same circumstances that made it, right?
See,
in fact,
I think the Dodgers had to back it up, too, this year. Not that old janky 60-game schedule last year.
Well, the thing is, the regular season was janky. The playoffs were not. The playoffs were
they kind of were because they were neutral.
True. Now, that part is true, but they all played the same amount of games.
They barely beat the Braves.
They still had to beat the same
Rays.
Best of 7, so I'm giving the Dodgers the benefit of the doubt.
I'm not. I want to back it up.
Well, they could
I think
very
they chipped
well
one in off
do
the water
that.
cooler last year.
I just hope that the Giants hold on to win the division they've controlled all year long because the Dodgers are coming on, baby.
I don't, and this is without Mookie Betts. I don't know how anybody beats them. This is without Betts and Bauer.
Right. Well, Bauer's not coming back, I don't think.
No.
I don't think. This hour of the show brought to you in part by the good folks at Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the tankless. Maybe it's time for you to get into 2021 technology. Get a tankless water heater. These are the greatest things because it never runs out of hot water, no matter how much you use, and that's the truth. I've never run out of hot water since I got my tankless, and I'm saving money because these energy-saving models only heat the water you use. Your gas bill is down every month, and John right now is making the perfect time to replace your old technology because he'll give you, if you buy the tankless from him, 12 months to pay interest-free, or he'll even just give you $300 for your old tanked water heater. And the great thing about Conway is the service. 8,000 5-star reviews from Google. You know they take care of you. All you got to do is make the call. That's 384-3511. Call John, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the best tankless water heaters around. 2 hours in the books. To Nashville we go in just a minute. Our friend Bill King will join us right after this.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
It's time to make this the summer event you've been waiting for at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. We got it all with 2021 Grand Cherokee El Laredo 4x4, $399 a month. 2021 Dodge Challenger XST, $398 a month. And 2021 Dodge Charger XST, $409 a month. Plus, get some serious performance in 2021 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4, $499 a month. And bring in your trade for top dollar and get a new Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat from Gossett. So drive past the rest, come for the best, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler. Challenger Charger 75 months at 3.99 APR, all $49.99 down. Jeep Ram 48 month lease, $10,000 per year, 25 cents excess mileage. Cherokee MH16 1836, MSRP 44,235. Challenger MH603 214, MSRP 32,505. Charger MH602 256, MSRP 33,435. Ram MN8 19012, MSRP 59,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
When you're ready to buy something, the first thing you do is go online. But buying a home is different. You've got loan applications, pre-approvals, competing offers, the list goes on. That's where a Realtor comes in. Realtors have expertise and local knowledge to give you a competitive edge that a search bar just can't. And in today's market, an edge is what you need. So when you're ready to buy a home, the first thing to do is make sure you have an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Bill King will join us momentarily. When it's college football time, we have to check in with our friend in Nashville, the indomitable Bill King. He's terrific on everything. We know he'll talk about the Georgia-Clemson game. And at FanDuel Sportsbook, they're hooking up new users with enhanced 30-1 odds for the first big college football game of the season. That's right. Pick either Georgia or Clemson to win, and you could turn a measly little old $5 bet into $150 payday. I love Georgia in this game. I like Georgia to win it all this year. I like JT Daniels to take the Heisman Trophy. I think he's better than DJU. Sign up and make your first deposit to kick off the college football season on America's #1 sports book. There's no better place to bet college football than at FanDuel. Great promotions. #1 rated sports book app. Easy to use, fast payouts. You get your money. You want it fair and square. You get it back in as little as 24 hours. So make the most out of college football this week with enhanced 30-1 odds on Georgia and Clemson. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code CASH so they know we sent you. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10 unless otherwise indicated. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Hit up the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. They're online at DeSotoAutosales.com, 662-890-7184. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars test driven, all checked out thoroughly, bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory. Every make, every model, you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment, but they care about your time. And at DeSoto Auto Sales, they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. Within 45 minutes, find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in that 45-minute guarantee. We live in a world today that time matters. They know that. That's why they keep it simple at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Bill King joins us now, Mr. Nashville Sports Talk Radio. Bill King, college football, it's back, thank goodness.
Yeah, guys, had to go to Louisville for a dental school presentation where my son is, and I didn't get to watch any Saturday. I don't think this last Saturday was the kickoff. It wasn't for me, but I only got to watch highlight packages. I don't think that's happened to me in the 30-something years I've done this, that I've missed a college football ever, and it won't happen again.
Well, it sounds like it was for the right thing, so you're okay, Bill. And
yes.
The only game you really missed was Nebraska and Illinois, and who can figure out Nebraska?
We finest hour, Bill.
We've been trying to just. I don't know that Nebraska will ever come back the way they once were.
They got a lot of issues. They're landlocked, and there's not players around them. They're not nationally relevant anymore. 18, 19-year-olds, I can't take it back to 95, one of the best teams ever. That doesn't sell them. so there's nothing to witness. Recruiting has slipped because they go into New Jersey and get a Mike Rozier. They go into California, they get some other players. They can recruit around. Tommy Frazier's from Bradenton, Florida. The other problem is, since Dr. Tom and a couple of hires after that, but once they hired Bill Callahan in the late 2000s, he stripped them of their culture.
He did.
Nebraska does not understand, for some reason, the people who live there and are in charge of football, they don't understand the recipe. They don't understand the culture. At Nebraska, you do not play the chuck and duck. You do not play TikTok video offense. You play it like Wisconsin and Iowa do. Wisconsin and Iowa, they get up every morning, and they understand their culture as good, if not better, than anybody in America. Here's how we can win. And Nebraska has ditched that about 15 years ago, and they've never tried to reclaim it. That's their problem.
Bill, that's the best analysis I've heard all weekend about the Nebraska problems, and everybody's weighed in, and you nailed it. Nobody cares about 95. In preparation for next weekend for Ole Miss Austin Peay on Saturday,
Right.
September 11th for pregame, I was going through the Ole Miss players' bios just to see if any of these youngsters were born, if they were born that day that we all remember, that Tuesday morning, 11 September 2001. None were, but I'm going through it, and I'm seeing 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. I'm like a dinosaur to those people.
If you're 30, I mean, that's might as well be 80 to these 18, 17-year-old recruits. It's a different time, and even when they hired somebody like my boy Bo Pelini, who won on average 9 games a year there, they ran him off because he was too mean. He screamed too much. He was too much of a jerk, so they ran him off. They didn't have any other reasons. He didn't cheat, and he got him to a 2009 Big 12 championship game, if you'll recall. And if they had to put a second back on the clock, might have beaten Texas, but they put a second back on, let them kick the field goal to win it. So even if they do make a pretty good hire, and Tom Osborne made that hire, they brought him in to fire Bill Callahan, and then he immediately hired the defensive coordinator at LSU, Bo Pelini. Even when they do that, they blow it. They just don't know what they're doing.
Well, they shouldn't have fired Frank Solich for that matter. Look what he's done since that firing.
I was out in Scottsdale, Tempe in 99, and it was Solich had that thing rolling first couple of years. Tennessee was going back, remember the year after the national championship, to play in the same facility, not for a championship, got destroyed by Nebraska. The score was closer than the game. And I sat there with Solich. Charlie McBride, their esteemed all-time best defensive coordinator they've ever had, was retiring. I remember that vividly, guys. And they had another good year after that, and then it didn't fall to pieces, but they didn't think Solich, who had the exact same blueprint as Dr. Tom.
Right.
Quiet, same style, didn't ever raise his voice, same demeanor. They ran him off, man. They can't get it right.
No.
Bill, in all these SEC preseason predictions, which one can you just flat take to the bank and you'd co-sign any loan on?
Well, guys, those are tough ones. Really good question, but they're hard for me because I don't really look at it. I don't even check what the SEC Media Days yields anymore because that's such a zoo. Oh, boy. I mean, guys, this is a horribly boring answer, but, I mean, you're better off picking Alabama every year than not picking.
Yeah, pretty safe.
Your percentages are way better doing that, even if they don't win it, and they don't always win it, but you're better off. They've won, 6 of the last 12 national championships. That's a pretty good percentage.
I'd say. All right, so let me get more specific because it happens this weekend, and it's the best game going, and that's Georgia and Clemson. Both teams obviously considered playoff teams, and both teams probably could figure out a way. The loser here could still get there. As we discussed earlier, probably easier for Georgia to get there than Clemson, but nonetheless, both could probably recover. But what a great game to start the year.
Yeah, and the sexy talk would be JT Daniels versus DJ Uyunglele, but really, and this is old coach speak, it's going to be the trenches. Clemson might have the best, most gifted defensive lineman in America. They started 2 true freshmen last year, 5 stars, and these guys can flat out go. And they've got a year under them. And I think they've got more proven weaponry right now, particularly a wide receiver. They're going to be good at running back. So that I think it's Georgia's offensive line, how it holds up to that Clemson defensive line. If they can do that, then I can say Georgia plus, what are they getting, 3.5 right now, might be a good bet. But that's my concern right now when I circle that area in the trenches.
I got to ask you off of football for just a second.
Yeah, sure.
Because you're the recruiting guru. Has there ever been a coach in his first 4 years in basketball that had the number 1 recruiting class 2 of his first 4 years? I know there have been coaches, Cal, Krzyzewski, that have had multiple number 1 classes over their years, but not in their first 4 did they get 2 number 1 classes like Penny Hardaway has. I don't think.
Yeah, Cal immediately, and remember, Tubby didn't want to recruit hard, so he then ended up, for example, with his son at the point.
Well, he said
at Kentucky.
I hate to say this, but because I dearly like Tubby Smith, but Tubby Smith said when he got here and people were asking him about recruiting, and his first class wasn't so good, he basically said, "Well, the Memphis fans have to understand." It's now a Power 5 sport, and Memphis is not like the old days. They're not going to get those kinds of players.
Wow.
And that was really the beginning of the end in the minds of fans here for Tubby, and obviously Penny Hardaway has proven that is not true.
But what Cal did immediately is he went and got John Wall, and then he got Boogie Cousins. So
yeah, but you're forgetting he'd already been at UMass, so those were his first years. Not Memphis.
Stanley, yeah, right. No, you're right. So you're saying in your first years, I don't remember anything like it. No, I hadn't really thought about it much in the football mode. But no, I can't go back and and I go back to Dana Kirk. I know you guys do too, and William Bedford and Penny Hardaway and all those guys. But it's incredible what they're doing. Absolutely.
And Bill, at some point, it's not going to just be go to the tournament and go to the Sweet 16 next year. There will be expectations for Elite 8 or bust, especially right here by Arkansas with a lot less ballyhooed class. And Eric Musselman, he goes to the Elite 8 in his second year.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, on that level, those recruiting rankings, and they're pretty accurate. Basketball recruiting rankings are very accurate. They're more accurate than they're not. And I think, guys, I may take it a step further. I think if you don't get to the Final Four, you probably not achieved what you should have with that group.
I'm kind of with you.
Well,
and just going out in the Sweet 16, I don't think people will be pleased with.
No.
There have been other classes where 2 of the top 5 had student athletes. And I believe the majority of them got to the Elite 8 game. I don't know that anyone won a national title. I think the one with Zion in his class that had 3 of the top 5, they got bounced in the round of 32.
And
so
even the famous
crazy
Fab
things
Five
can
didn't
happen.
win it all.
That's right. Well, yeah. If Memphis gets to the national championship game, no one's going to complain about the ride. I don't think.
2 years in a row. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, you say basketball doesn't miss. What position in football is most missed on in recruiting rankings?
Not even close. In my decades of experience, defensive back, and a cornerback in particular. I'm talking about the cover corner ability. Because if you think about it, and the rankings are very – I can critique those a bit. I've seen tons of 5-star DBs not do anything. So I don't trust those as much as I trust – obviously, running backs are running back. What you see is usually what you get. That's an easy one. But cover skills, think about it. How many high school defensive backs ever see somebody on the other side He's going to be probably the wide receiver DB. He's the best athlete on the team. Maybe he's the quarterback. And he just goes out and they say, pick number 88 and cover him. And he covers him the whole game, and the guy never gets the ball.
Right.
He has no skills. DB skills are not taught well. Coverage skills at all in high school. I don't care what level it is. They're not taught well. And you go into the college game not prepared other than just sheer athleticism. And you're going against, particularly if you go to the SEC or the Big 12 or where Big 10, you're going to go against some elite athletes at wide receiver, and they're not equipped to do it. It's a very, very difficult transition.
And
so that one
hard to run backwards too, isn't it?
Yeah, not quarterback. And that's tough. No, it's very hard to come in and transition. Offensive line might be next. Yeah,
I was gonna say to you, because really when you talk about offensive line, you're talking about in my mind, three different skill sets, because footwork, positioning, and everything else is different between a tackle and a guard and a center.
Well, and not only that, but each side's different.
Right.
Footwork.
It's the same thing.
Right tackle's
That's right.
not the same as left tackle. There's a lot of guys nowadays, 6'6", 320. I mean, they're diamond. They're everywhere. But also think about this. Defensive line is a much easier transition because you can play some, sick 'em. See ball, hit ball, go to ball. Now, there's a lot of technique in there, but if you're that good of an athlete, you have to be on the defensive line and you're 6'4", 320. You're a much better athlete than the offensive lineman across from you. Even if he's an All-American, you're a better athlete than him. It's a tough matchup. It's a very difficult matchup. And young offensive linemen are very rare. I'm talking about good ones. Sometimes teams play them, guys, simply because you've got nothing on the depth chart. You got to put them in there. But very rarely are they ready.
Is the shortest surplus of talent still on the defensive line? I've heard coaches say that's where the SEC separates itself from all the other leagues because they have the best defensive linemen in supply. Is that the shortest supply of any position?
Let me answer it this way. In the late 80s, mid-80s, it was almost impossible to field a team that had two good D tackles. Alabama could do it. They always had it. And others did too, but it was very, very difficult. It's much more plentiful now. I'll tell you, all across the South, you've got good defensive linemen. But let me give you an area that if somebody could tackle it, they could really take off. The Eastern Seaboard, up through the Carolinas, Virginia, all the way to New Jersey, and all the way down to South Carolina. That stretch into D.C., that stretch of real estate there, guys, is crazy with defensive linemen. Might be the best stretch in America, year in and year out. And if somebody could recapture Blacksburg and make it a thing, or the Maryland job, because, again, Maryland, we're not going to think about them historically, but that's a very good geographical location. One of those spots, if somebody could come in and say, I'm owning it, and I'm going to get these guys, I'm telling you, you could flip a program in a second.
Well, Rutgers ought to do it then.
Mike Loxley better do that, Bill.
He's doing some of it. They run hot and cold. One Saturday, they'll beat somebody to death. You go, wow.
Yeah.
Next Saturday, they don't show.
What'd you do that for? Yeah. Yeah, they sure will. He's got to get some consistency. In the SEC, at the end of this year.
Hey, guys, you're close to Ole Miss. Let me tell you something.
All right.
You give Hugh Freeze that Virginia Tech job, God help that side of the country.
Really?
He would flip it fast.
You are the second person that I have heard say exactly that. So you guys are, and both of you basically have given up on Justin Fuente, that this is it for Fuente.
As far as him getting him back to Beamer level consistently, it's not happening. I don't see it.
I hate that. I thought it was the perfect hire. Hugh Freeze for an open Michigan job, an open Nebraska job.
I don't think First of all, I don't think they're coming after Hugh Freeze. I think, and he was smart to get out of the deep South. He was smart to just get out of there and let everything quieten down. He did the right thing. So, hey, someday when you have me on again, I'll tell you my Hugh Freeze story. He was DMing me during my show a couple of years ago. It was very weird.
Okay.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for another day.
Okay.
But I'll spill all the tea on that one. But no. I think something doesn't have to be in the SEC, but I think Virginia Tech, you are very geographically advantaged if you take advantage of it there. I think that would be ideally perfect for you. And it wouldn't be in the SEC.
But you do have to play Clemson every year on that side, right?
And you got to play UVA.
And that's your rival, right?
Now they dominate them.
He could get them right now the closest that any school in the ACC can get on paper to Clemson. You give him about 2-3 years. Now, again, overtaking him and beating him, I'm not going to go that far yet. But I think he would be the guy that could challenge on the field coaching and absolutely recruiting.
Last year, Bill King, Dan Mullen ran hot on a lot of different occasions. After the A&M loss, before the bowl game, after the bowl game. Could it end poorly for Dan Mullen and Scott Strickland? And if it does, I mean, Scott only can look in the mirror. He knew him as well as anyone.
Well, they look like about a 9-3 team. That's pretty good. It's just not Urban Meyer at his peak, and it's certainly not Spurrier on his mid to late 90s run. And that's what people expect, and I don't blame them. Florida is an elite job. You could argue, and I could say this about four or five places, but you could argue this is the best place to be, to win everything, resources, location, weather, palm trees, close to beach on either side. But he does. Here's the thing with Mullen. Mullen is not a go-getter, hell-raising recruiter. And they could be ranked 10th or 12th. Florida ought to be ranked in the top 3. I think right now, and it's early, but they're ranked, I believe, 30th. That's not good enough there. It's just simply not.
There are two programs. Florida's one of them, and I don't think the book is totally out on Mullen yet. But the other is Texas, and maybe Sarkisian's going to be the answer. I mean, it wouldn't shock me, but I have never understood, based on what you have just talked about, population, facilities, brand, how is Texas unable to find a quarterback? How is Texas unable to really dominate that league? They should be on the same par with Oklahoma every year.
2009, between 2005 and 2009, Mac had a really good run. 2 national championship games, won one of them. That's a really good run. That's Texas. That's what everybody says Texas ought to be.
Right.
Except historically, they've really never been that.
Right.
People say, but I agree with you. What's missing there? And with name, image, likeness, you're looking over at Houston, you're looking over at Dallas, unlimited name, image, likeness, right? I mean, literally unlimited with all the money there. It's the number one athletic department earning school, too. But Texas is different. Texas always has a fight going on, and it's usually administration. It might be the academia side of things versus the athletic department. It's always a battle, and it gets to coaches. It really does. Here's the perfect analogy I thought of years ago. Texas wants to be Cal Berkeley Monday through Friday, and Alabama on Saturday.
That's so good, Bill. And Austin wants to be Berkeley.
Correct. And I'm telling you, man, I haven't seen the formula where that works yet. You got to be one or the other.
I agree. I totally agree. If Scott Frost is the hottest of the hot seats going into this year, who else do you think has some problems?
Harbaugh?
They owe him $20 million, I think. So 2 things. Either they stick with him to year 5 because he's one of ours and we don't want to come up with this money, or they try and get him for calls, which some work out during a pandemic, which, guys, that ain't a big deal. We don't even have an NCAA yet. So I don't know if that angle would even work. Maybe it will, but I'm doubtful. But he's there. I don't think he's on as hot a seat, at least yet, as everybody thinks he is, even though there's no hope there. I think Harbaugh, we're running low on time. I mean, we've been running low. Ward Manuel's the AD there, Louisiana guy, and signed in recruiting many years ago with Michigan. And I don't think the administration, the people who actually matter, not Twitter and not somebody's message board. They've not been in any mood to get rid of him for whatever reason, but I think we're closing in on that guy. I do think we're closing.
Well, we're closing in on saying goodbye to you, but we'll talk again soon. And next time, we got to hear
the DM story,
the Hugh Freeze story.
We'll do that
it's
soon.
Cringy, it's cringy, and it's good. It's radio worthy.
All right.
Thank you, Bill King.
Thank you, Bill.
Enjoy.
See you guys. Bye.
Bill King, our guest. And look, all the new All-Star Edition Silverado trucks, they're at All-Star Chevy. Get down there. So many certified pre-owned Chevys. If it's a Chevy you want this fall, they have it. Olive Branch is where you want to be. If you have a car or truck to sell, All-Star will buy it, even if you owe on it. Or bring the title, and they'll write you a check for it today. Remember, it's not South Haven. It's not Collierville. It's not Mount Moriah. It's not the Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy at Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
I did my research, and I developed this past weekend. I went to Miramichi. Tell you what I developed. I've got a new driver. And it's within the 46 inches, just so you know. I got it, and I tried to develop it. And I had fun trying because they give you all the golf balls you want on that driving range. They give you all the space and fantastic facilities for practice, $49 to play for the weekend, $30 for seniors Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Going to be a little wet tomorrow, but after that you might start thinking about it. What a deal. That's cart, that's all those golf balls, that's use of the facilities, and what a golf course. I mean, 330 acres of beauty. That back nine is really and truly gorgeous, and the conditions are outstanding. The best grass we've seen in years. Well, they got a new irrigation system, and we've had the hot weather, and we've had enough rain, and it's really beautiful. If you've never been to Miramichi, you know, Golf Digest says one of the best places to play in the state. That was last year. I am telling you, you will love what this is all about. And it's 25 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. It isn't far. It is just gorgeous. And then afterwards, that view from the patio deck up on top of 9 and 18 is the best spot in Memphis for an after-round drink, your favorite one. Please go check it out. You will really thank me later. Just head to Miramichi. We pause for a second. When we come back, we'll make a few American Athletic Conference football predictions. That comes your way in just a minute.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
Hi, everyone. This is Greg Aston for FanDuel. One of the things I love about betting on FanDuel Sportsbook is you get more than one shot. Right now, new and existing users can get up to $25 back in site credit each day. Just place a minimum 5-leg baseball parlay, and if it falls one leg short, you get up to $25 back with parlay insurance. There is a reason FanDuel Sportsbook is America's #1 sportsbook. In addition to the parlay insurance, if you haven't tried FanDuel Sportsbook yet, new users can place your first bet risk-free. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code GASMAN to get in on the action. You must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $25 per game. Restrictions do apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
The 34th Annual Memphis Chevy Show, presented by T-Mobile, makes its return to the Memphis International Raceway September 10th and 11th. The premier destination for all things Chevrolet features multiple classes of drag racing, an automotive swap meet, jet dragsters, and more. Get your vehicle registered and enter it in a professionally judged car show, or just put it on display. You can also just sit back and enjoy the show. Tickets are now on sale online at just $20 for Friday and $25 for Saturday. Don't miss out on the largest car show in the Mid-South. Go to racemir.com for more information. Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
As always, Monday disappearing. Wait till next week when we got all kinds of games to talk about, including Memphis and Nichols, Ole Miss, and that Monday night game. We will not be here Tuesday, next Monday, because of that, and some other stuff. So it won't be until Tuesday that we really get to talk a bunch about Ole Miss and Louisville and Memphis and Nichols State, but we do look forward to that. And we mentioned a little earlier, I thought this was really wonderful that Ryan Silverfield reached out to Nichols State and that program because obviously they're in Louisiana. They've been hit hard as well. And they were thinking about possibly coming here, and Ryan had offered them use of the indoor. He would feed them while they were here. I think he was going to arrange for really cheap hotel rooms. It was really a beautiful story of how they were trying to really help them out. I don't know what Nichols State is going to do, but I know they'll be here and the game will take place as scheduled, 6 o'clock on Sunday. We already know Tulane has had to move their game from the little tiny on-campus Yeoman Stadium to Norman, where they were already underdogs, but now they're even bigger underdogs.
They were 26-point dogs with it being on campus at Yeoman, and Nichols and the Tigers Saturday night to kick things off, and we'll be out next Monday. We'll have a lot to catch up on next Tuesday. So the American 3 teams we're doing today, USF, Temple, ECU, I don't have many wins for them. Combined, I don't have many.
I can tell you that combined, I have 4, 5, ECU, UCF, and Temple. have 8. No, I'm sorry. I have 8 total wins.
I have 5. I have Temple going 1-11, 0-8 in the league. Only win over Wagner all year. They didn't want to play last year, and I don't think it'll look like they want to play this year.
Wow, I've got them a little better. I've got them 3-9. I got them 1-7 in the league. I've got them winning at Akron.
Who's the league win?
I've got them winning against Wagner. I've got them beating USF because the USF's terrible.
Yeah, you got a point there. I got USF 1-11. I've got 2 teams today 1-11.
I have USF 1-11 as well. The only win for USF is against Florida A&M.
Mine's against Temple.
You've got them beating
I've got
Temple?
them losing to Florida A&M.
Oh, my goodness. You got them losing to the Rattlers.
I do, to an FCS team.
Wow. And then Temple. I have Temple 3-9 and 1-7.
Bryant?
I have East Carolina 3-9. I have Temple winning 2, and then I have USF winning 2.
Oh, yeah. I have East Carolina, by the way, winning 4.
I've got East Carolina winning 3. My 3 wins, Charleston Southern, USF, and where's the other one?
App State? App State, which they could lose.
No, I have them losing to App State.
Yeah.
I'm 2 wins.
I've got them beating USF. I've got them beating Temple. I've got them beating Charleston Southern, and I've got them beating App State. And I'm not really sure about the App State. I just kind of felt like they were going to win 4 games. I had to find one.
Man. 3 bad teams.
Yeah, I have East Carolina beating Charleston Southern. I have them beating USF, and I have them beating Temple. That's it.
No,
So
my
you have App
3
State
wins.
winning that
I have
game.
3 wins. Let me get this right. Charleston Southern, USF, and Temple. I'm 3-9, 2-6.
Okay. Well, so you're lower total than mine because in those 3 teams, what I got 4.
Yeah, I was at 5.
I got 3 is 7 and 1 is 8. You got 5. How many total wins have you got? You got lower than my 8.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to do the math.
It's rough stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's the and
that's why they were on kickoff Monday.
Well, there's some parity in the middle, I think. I think the top end, there's a couple of teams. There's only one team that I've got that gets double-digit wins, and I think that one's pretty obvious, and we'll get to that a little bit later in the week.
Yeah, we will, and I think it's a mighty team, and you know the kind of the tack-on game at the end for the American on Saturday, December 11th, Army and Navy in their traditional game.
Yeah, which takes place. That's on December 11th, and it's in MetLife Stadium this year. In East Rutherford. So,
you know, they're talking about taking that game on campus in a few years.
I think they should. You know, when I was a kid, it wasn't played in New Jersey. The darn thing was played in Philadelphia.
Always at Philadelphia,
Yeah.
at the stadium that later became JFK Stadium.
Right, was
it Shibe Park?
No.
No, it wasn't.
I know it was like Franklin
Field. Stayed Franklin Field. I don't remember the name of that stadium before it became JFK.
I think it was. I could have sworn it was Franklin Field. At least at one point, they may have moved it from Franklin Field to what became JFK Stadium. What was the name of that stadium? Philadelphia's had a lot of ballparks, and they always have them like in the same area, where they have their, you know, they've got the baseball stadium, football
JFK,
stadium,
formerly Philadelphia Municipal Stadium.
Philly Municipal. Okay,
not Franklin.
But I want to tell you,
Franklin's on the Penn campus, isn't it?
I think that originally that's where they played Army Navy was on Franklin Field. I'm almost certain of that.
Dave, you ever watched the MLB Network early in the morning? Their kind of morning wake-up show? Mark DeRosa is on it, and he's great. And he was a Penn Quaker quarterback in the 90s, and I think he's just great on that show. And he's saying that the Cincinnati Reds not only could be the wild card, but the Reds could get hot and win it all.
Well, the Reds have really come on to surpass everybody to get to that second wild card position. We never thought that was going to happen. Cardinals still have a chance. They're only 3.5 back. I just don't think
buy that.
I don't think they have the makeup to do it.
I know they don't.
Especially losing Pittsburgh the way they've been losing to Pittsburgh, and when they start to play, and I don't even have their schedule in front of me, but I have to believe
they play the Reds starting tonight.
Yeah,
first to 3.
There you go. That is this a
they
critical
get 3
series.
more at Busch Stadium.
The good thing for both the Reds and the Cardinals is they get to play the lousy end, Pittsburgh and Chicago, in that division. Let's face it, that division is not very good. We thought it might be really good. Well, it's not.
No,
and
it's
Chicago
not very good.
gave up on
Milwaukee's
it.
good, though.
Milwaukee is good. And maybe the Reds are good.
I want a Milwaukee-Tampa Bay World Series. Something really different.
You obviously are not a part of Fox Network.
No.
Because I think
I am not.
They would cringe if that was it, to have those two smaller market teams.
Dave, it's going to get killed if it's Dodgers-Yankees. It's not going to be great if it's Dodgers-Yankees. It's not going to be a ratings boon.
I think Dodgers and Yankees would still conjure up pretty good numbers because you've got stars.
But,
I mean,
but you know
that's
what numbers they're going to compare them
to?
They're going to compare them to Kurt Gowdy doing games in the 70s, and you're never getting numbers like that again.
No, they'll
compare them to Yankees, Dodgers in 78.
The only things that get those kinds of numbers, frankly, are football. And in particular, the NFL. That's just the reality of television now. But I think if you're just talking about today's numbers and today's shares, that if you had Yankees and Dodgers with those stars, those big names, that would still bring you a decent number.
On a Tuesday night, I don't think it does. On the weekend, it gets lost in the football monster.
No, football's tough. That is definitely evident. I still think the Giants are the best baseball story of the year. We touched on it a little bit earlier, but to win as many games
nobody
as
east of Oakland talks about.
Well, and nobody ever thought they were going to be in the race. The Dodgers and the Padres were the new darling rivalry, and in fact, San Diego's position overtook San Francisco because the teams were so good. Nobody counted on the Giants. Nobody. And they have been great. And the other great story is the Rays. And you just said you love a Tampa, Milwaukee.
Gabe Kapler and Kevin Cash have to be respective managers of the year, don't they?
I think so.
And Kevin Cash on that budget, he ought to get a Lifetime Achievement Award.
This is the third go-round for that franchise.
They play Boston starting tonight in a home series. Now, I know TJ, I understand it. He gets tired of them being the only one singled out for not drawing. They have to draw for the Red Sox. Come on now. If nothing else, Red Sox fans in that area.
TJ contends on a regular basis that the problem with the Rays is more the ballpark and its location.
Well, it's where it is.
Do a new ballpark and put it where they have the Amalie Center. Or even put it where
they're not doing
where
that
they
tonight.
have
Tonight they've got to draw against the Red Sox.
I'm just saying to you that probably would help to be around a place with an entertainment district. That seems to be
that's great for 2028.
Yeah,
but tonight they got to draw for the Red Sox.
Well, we'll see what they draw. We'll be looking at that. This portion of our show is brought to you by Homer. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, where you get a product so durable, 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. That's what you get with every one of their new cars, whether it's a Hyundai, a Sonata, a Santa Fe, any of those beautiful cars, or the G car, 70, 80, 90, they're all durable. They're all terrific and high performance. Technology is just amazing. It's safe. You know, the Hyundai's been voted #1 safe car on the planet for several years now, and the Genesis car is using the same kind of technology, and all you have to do is witness what happened in that brand new SUV Tiger Woods was driving in. 15 different airbags were able to deploy and clearly were able to save his life. And then you talk about the smoothness of the G90, the performance, fast, the G70. You fall in love with them. And you'll fall in love with the way they take care of you at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch, because they give you a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every new car. They will rotate your tires. They will change your oil. They'll make sure all the pressure on the tires, all the levels on the liquids, all the belts are tightened so that you're running at peak efficiency. The car's going to last forever, and they're going to take care of you. At Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We pause for just a minute. When we come back, it will be Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Get your day off to a great start with Peter Edmonston and Anthony Sane on Sports 56 mornings. Weekdays from 7 to 10 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Look, no one's perfect. Even the best baseball players strike out with the bases loaded. The best golfers sometimes three-putt with the tournament on the line. So if you feel like you come up short in the bedroom sometimes, it's perfectly okay. But if it's bothering you, there are options. Go to GetRoman.com/bighead now. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, it ships to you free with 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward and discreet. Getting started, it's really simple. Just go to GetRoman.com/bighead. That's my special online code, and complete an online visit. Take care of your ED without leaving home. Complete an online visit today to connect with a doctor and take care of it. Go to GetRoman.com/bighead now to get $15 off your first month. Look, there's a straightforward way to take care of your ED. GetRoman.com/bighead. Get started now to save $15 on your first month of treatment.
Mid-South, the time is now to trade up to a Kia sales event at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. You want to ride with 41 MPG Highway? We Gossett 2021 Kia Rio $249 a month. You want 0% at $282 a month? We Gossett with 2021 Kia Forte. And all-weather rugged 2022 Kia Seltos $332 a month. Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Trade up and get top dollar at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All $29.99 due at signing. Rio ME 418 570 60 at 0.9% APR. MSRP 17.2. Forte ME 393 458 60 at 0%. MSRP 19,940. Celtos N 724 9948 66 at 1.9%. MSRP 23,910. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Valid through 8/31/2021. Dealer stock only. Must finance through Kia on APR offer.
At Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
Memphis's hometown airline, Southern Airways, wants you to beat the Mid-South heat and head to the Emerald Coast. Southern is the easy and convenient way for Memphians to get to Destin. Want to spend some time on the lake instead? Fly over the interstate traffic and bypass any delays and take one of Southern's flights to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Short flights and popular regional destinations like Arkansas's festival city of El Dorado and Harrison, Arkansas, the gateway to Branson, each have daily nonstop flight options from Southern Airways out of Memphis. Flying Southern is easy with no TSA screening hassles and free parking at Signature Flight Support. So if you're planning a quick weekend getaway, be sure to fly Southern Airways. Visit iflysouthern.com to reserve your seats today.
At Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
If ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh-made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on: Sunrise.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We busy with the deal, we get in fame.
Another quick day today. Well, that's what happens when college football begins. That is for certain. That is what the doctor ordered, kind of like Poppy's Pills. That's the Pilsner that is just what the doctor ordered. You know, sometimes you come across a beer so smooth, so crushable, it cures what ails you. You take two of these
Is this more
Pilsners.
research?
Well, yeah. I always take care of everything. I'm not going to give you something without letting you know.
That's Dave.
I had to do that with Tiger Tails. Now I've done this with the Pilsner, 4% alcohol, so a little lighter beer. It's for those of you that like it a little lighter. It's perfect when it's hot, like after you've gone to the pool or maybe you've played golf. Maybe you're grilling out. Oh, yeah. You have to be out there hot. Little grill you've got, and this thing kind of just works out perfectly. Look, it has been in the making for 6 years, and they've come up with the perfect Pilsner. And they have taken it to everything. You can obviously get it in the Grind City Brewing tap room. That is a given, but you can also get it in liquor stores and in Kroger. Poppy's Pills, the Pilsner, is just what the doctor ordered. It's officially Taco Bell crunch time.
Crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the babies crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Looking for something new at Taco Bell? Try the original tacos meets the instant classic, nacho fries. There's bound to be some magic. Nacho fries are essentially building blocks for culinary imagination. Slightly seasoned, go with bold spices. Warm nacho cheese and sour cream, loaded taco fries are covered with seasoned beef, nacho cheese sauce, ranch, tomato, and shredded cheese. In short, the legend of nacho fries lives on.
Dave, I learned today, and I laughed a few weeks back at some of my Cardinal brethren talking about that little sweep of Pittsburgh and Kansas City that kind of had them back in the race. After those two collapses this week in Pittsburgh, now 3 tonight, starting with 3 in Cincinnati, tonight, Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to be very sobering for my Cardinal brethren.
What if they sweep the Reds? I don't think that'll happen either. I just learned, as New Orleans officials assess the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, the Superdome has escaped significant damage from, I still can't get my mind around the Category 4 storm. You realize there were 150-mile-an-hour winds?
It knocked out the wind meter.
I mean, that's just incredible. And of course, the city's without power, and I don't know when that's coming back.
News now that Tulane's going to be camped at UAB for 6 weeks. Pat Smith,
wow.
My friend from Jocks, tweeting that 4 to 6 weeks in Birmingham.
Man. I don't know where the Saints are going to be. Their plans for their practice week for the home opener against
I'm telling you,
Green
can't knock
Bay
that dome down.
Remains uncertain.
I mean, I shouldn't laugh. The dome is impenetrable.
Well, remember the damage it had with Katrina. You know what? This is amazing. So, ASM Global, that's the company that runs the stadium, told the New Orleans Picayune that the management group did a total tour of the building, found no structural damage beyond a little window leak. Do you remember how bad it was for Katrina?
Well, it was in disrepair. And, remember, Tom Benson was trying to get out of there with the Saints then. Then his hand was forced. Could have done without the annual social media ripping. I don't get it. I don't know why. But they do. It does. The annual ripping and complaining about the Little League World Series on all day, every day on ESPN. There's a simple fix for this, people. I can clue you in on something. It's really amazing on that remote control. Turn it. Why watch if you detest it so bad? Look, I'm not a huge tennis fan. I'm not a huge soccer fan. But you don't see me complaining about it on social media or anywhere that I'm watching it because I hardly watch. If you don't like something, turn it.
By the way, U.S. Open starts this week.
It does.
We forgot to
mention that. And it looks great in New York, and I'm glad it's back.
Yeah, me too. I don't understand why there is such criticism. Seriously. Do they think that they're exploiting these little kids? Is that what it's all about? Because if you look at
they're happy as they can be.
If you look at the production quality of the way they do these games, it's outstanding. If you look at all the homework that the researchers and the broadcasters do for all these kids. They treat it
like the World Series.
They treat these kids like they're stars. These kids will never forget this experience. They've got it for posterity because it's recorded. My goodness, why do they hate this?
And I say this lovingly. I'd been gone like I just was at this time of year, just like I just was, for the very same reason. When I got back on Monday, Rob Fisher was away, and the text line was on fire, mad at Rob and David Basham for ripping on the Little League World Series. And I caught all the brunt about it. Said, "You've been ripping on it for 2 weeks." I said, "I haven't been here for 2 weeks. I didn't say a word about it."
I have no idea why anybody would rip that. Just if you don't like it, don't watch it. You've got plenty of other alternatives, and I think they do a heck of a job. And I don't think they're exploiting the kids. They're making memories for these kids. They're going to last forever. Drives me nuts. All right, I could do without this story. Colts quarterback Carson Wentz, Pro Bowl center Ryan Kelly, receiver Zach Pascal, all placed on COVID-19 reserved. This is too bad for Wentz. He just come back from knee surgery. Foot surgery.
Wrong with him.
I mean, it is tough.
And he's not that good.
Well, there's absolutely no word now as to whether or not he will be able to play in week 1. He's got some days to get over this. But, my goodness, you come back, and as soon as you come back, wow, you're zapped with COVID.
Keeping a close eye tonight on all the ramifications, repercussions from the sports world, from the sadness, the disaster, once again on the Louisiana-Mississippi Gulf Coast. Quarterback news, depth charts around in NFL and in college football. Tulane, OU, it's been moved to Norman. We know that. John Lester on the mound right now as we speak for the Cardinals. Just what I wanted, a key game with him on the mound for my Cardinals. Red Sox and Rays, please draw in this series, Rays, where I won't have to complain about it. And old TBS special tonight, when they were once rivals and in the same division that had geography students around the country confused. Braves-Dodgers late at Chavez Ravine.
Braves-Dodgers. That could be a preview.
That was a TBS game. That game was on every night on TBS, wasn't it?
Hey, I got to say
With
this.
Skip Carey doing the game?
You mentioned John Lester. It is so hard for me to see John Lester in a Cardinal uniform.
Well, that's good because it's hard for me, too. It's right up there with A.J. Brzezinski as a Cardinal. Be glad when it's over.
Yeah. It could be a long-term deal.
Please no.
I didn't get a chance to talk to you. How about Yachty signing up for a 1-year, $10 million farewell tour?
One more going to have the Rocking Chair tour next year. Yeah.
I think it's great.
He's deserving. He's Mr. Cardinal. He's my favorite of the modern era.
I think if anybody deserves that and that little payday and to finish one team like the old days, I love it. I love it for Yachty. I think that is a great
Clutch
Cardinal story. We thank Ted Butler. We got to thank David Cobb and Bill King. A lot of insight from Bill King. That is for certain. Tomorrow, the usual Tuesday guest plus lots of picks in both the SEC and in the American Athletic Conference. And we'll probably go over that too deep from Memphis a little bit, but you'll not find out who that quarterback is for the U of M until 5:59 on Saturday night. That'll do it. Have a great night, everybody.
Tiger football opens at home against Nichols Saturday, September 4th at 6. And the rest of the schedule features SEC opponent Mississippi State, Navy, SMU, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now for all games, including Mississippi State, which starts at $60. Season tickets are also on sale, and you can get all 7 games for just $99. To lock in your seats for all the action, call 901-678-2331 or visit GoTigersGoTix.com.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do